Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Apollo Show. I'm your host, Apollo, and I'm here with the Schoolies. What do you call yourselves? The Schoolies girls?
Spring break girls.
Spring breakers.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Leilani. How you doing?
Hey.
Good. How are you?
Great. Get a little bit closer to that microphone when you chat.
Okay.
He just wants to play footsie with you and
I
get
know.
That's right. Why don't you tell everyone what you do and how you've hit the spotlight over the last 6 months?
Well, aside from making our dads very proud, we sleep with anyone and everyone to
Yeah.
make relatable content.
Amazing.
I mean, for the most part, it's mainly been schoolies, spring breakers, and then in September, freshers.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically, we're telling you to stay in school so you can porn.
How good's that?
Exactly. Like, we are rewarding you.
Rewarding this. All right. I like that. And it is an epic idea. The fact that so just to explain to the audience exactly how it goes down, you guys go to Schoolies, which is the Australian version of spring break.
Yes.
You've also been to spring break though.
Yes.
Where you put applications out.
We have a website that they can fill in an application form, but also once we're there, it's kind of just messaging our Instagrams. We'll go through our requests, even just coming up to us and just saying, I want to film with
spare 20 minutes. Yeah, cool. Let's go back to our rooms. Like, it's just making it like fun for them and us.
Yeah, awesome. And do you get many takers when you put the word out?
People have already been applying.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like we always said before, like we've only got like so many like so many holes and so much time. Like we literally could be fully booked basically. Like all day, every day. It's crazy.
But it's also hard too because I think they're there to enjoy themselves as well. So you can't like we could say, hey, we've got these amount of times available. But also if we're out and about like grabbing lunch and things like that and we find someone we've got the time, then
incredible.
It kind of just works out like that. But also not everyone shows up as well sometimes. Like, let's be real, they're out there having a good time, having a few drinks.
It's nervous.
Yeah.
Like, I say hats off to anyone that turns up. Like, they're turning up to two people that are,
they don't know us. And
exactly.
I think
they know
as
they're
well,
going to be filmed. They're on camera. Like, it's nerve-wracking for them. They talk the talk. Lads, especially young lads, talk the talk. And then they're coming into a room, getting naked, and they know we're going to film them. Like, it is nerve-wracking for them.
Totally.
So when they turn up, bless them, they're there with the ID, they're shaking. Like, they're so excited, but they are so nervous. Like, it is a big thing, like, getting in front of your mates, sleeping with someone, having someone watching, knowing we're judging, and we're going to sell the video afterwards.
I don't know what's worse, like, coming by yourself or coming with friends. Because if you come with friends, all your friends are going to see you, and then you've got to, like, outlast your friend. Like, I feel like some of them have their own thing going on, but then also coming alone, and then there's the two of us.
I mean, in my head, I thought there was a lot of single dudes coming to you, but are you saying there's a lot of groups that show up?
The most common is two guys.
Yeah, I think is what, because they don't know if it's going to be real or not, and then also because they're like, oh, well, there's two of you, and some of them are, like, intimidated. They're like, I don't know what to do with two girls. Like,
true. Well, yeah, that's, to me, I look back when I was 22, 23, 25, and I mean, even just kissing a girl in a nightclub, I would get like the shakes. I'd get really nervous.
It's basically, like we always say, it's educational for them. They learn so much. They learn how to properly us because loads of time, like during sex, still happens to me occasionally in personal sex, you get too nervous. So you don't want to tell them exactly what you like, how you want to be pleasured. Yeah. And they don't really know how to communicate. Like, you can pull hair, but you need to pull it nicely and stuff. And like, when they're watching, don't necessarily see that online. Whereas then when they're sleeping with us, we educate them like, oh no, like perhaps don't do it like this, do it like this.
So you're giving these young fellas the education that's missing from society.
Yeah, it's also cool seeing them how from when they start the like walk in the room to how they finish and like leave the room. It's such a different like guy from that has walked in being nervous to leaving. He's
a boy when he walks in, he's a man when he leaves.
Oh my gosh.
He's got a smile on his face, and then like even some of the guys from Schoolies last year, they're messaging us still being like, hey, the tip that you messaged me about this or this, that, the other, or I'm now better at putting on because of you girls.
They're always asking for advice, and like they walk out like FaceTime and their friends like, oh my guess what I've just been up to. Like, it is so much fun for them, which is why we I guess amusing how much they're like, God, these guys must be forced into it, they must not be enjoying it. It's like, are you telling me an 18-year-old is not enjoying coming to sleep with two? It's like, you are living under a rock.
I swear though,
100%,
some of them are like teaching us things. I didn't know that I could
right.
And
one of these young fellas got you there.
18-year-old taught me different.
Slay.
Some of them are good, aren't they? Like, they are genuinely good.
Oh my God, some of them are so attractive too. I'm like, where were these kids? Like when I was 18, where were these boys looking like that? Because like some of them walk through and I'm like, all right.
And we've said sizes are getting bigger.
They are.
Yeah? What is up, people? Are you ready to elevate your health game? If so, then listen up. Introducing to you BLCKWAVE Supplements, your go-to destination for holistic supplements that cater to both men and women. Designed to optimize your entire system. Whether you're looking to enhance focus, libido support, or to revitalize your overall well-being, BLCKWAVE has got you covered. Head to their website, www.blckwave.com, and try their wide range of holistic supplements, ranging from their 2 flagship products, their cognitive support, Brain Force 1, designed to help skyrocket your focus as your productivity goes through the roof, and their male libido support supplement, AlphaMale, Male Enhancement, designed to help you unleash your inner beast. Ladies, do you also want to reignite some heat back into the relationship? Well, BLCKWAVE also offers horny goat weed to ignite your passion and help enhance your libido. And here's a cherry on top. Use my promo code WAVE20 at the checkout for an exclusive 20% off your purchase on the website. So what are you waiting for? Join the BLCKWAVE revolution today. Are you sick of scouring the hub looking for something authentic? Well, MyOF has exactly what you're looking for. Real girls having a real good time. Exclusive behind the scenes, 50% off your first month, and over 100 videos ready to watch on the feed as part of your subscription. With weekly new releases from both homegrown Australian talent and overseas professionals you know and love. It's an amateur's paradise. Go check out the website in my bio and follow the links to the Apollo Show X. Wanted to see me, myself, and my D? Same website in bio, but look for the Apollo Show solo. Enjoy, guys.
They're getting bigger.
That's actually one of my questions today. I was going to say, like, are these...
Yeah.
I was thinking
my
the other day,
pinned
like,
tweet. My pinned tweet is one of the spring breakers, and oh my god, he is
packing.
Yes, he is.
Okay, all right.
Good.
So you think the average of the young man is getting bigger?
Yeah.
Well, I actually back when I was a worker, my regular, I actually his son, the Schoolies. And like his dad ended up finding out, and the only question his dad had was like, "Oh, was he respectful?" Like his dad absolutely loved the fact I'd him, no problem.
Great.
But his son, like, was so much his dad's.
Dude,
like
brutal.
So much.
Brutal. Imagine how mad you'd be. No, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be proud of it.
You'd be like, my genes are improving.
Exactly. Yeah, wow.
At least something's going
promising for the ladies.
I will say though, I feel like some of them are getting short. Like that, I feel like overall they're getting
shorter
as guys. But like,
what, height-wise?
Yeah, I feel like height-wise, guys are getting shorter. That's just another observation.
Yeah. Right. So lots of short kings with fat old.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Honestly, so some of my subscribers were saying, hey, you know, when you next do like Schoolies or Spring Break or Freshers, can you film with some people with smaller dicks?
Oh, I've had that.
I'm not choosing.
Yeah, we can't pick it. We don't even get to see their dicks until they are out in front of us.
We're not there feeling at the pool going, yep, come back with us.
We're not asking them to send a you know.
I thought that bigger the better. Like in porn, I thought that was kind of a theme where like they get mad if aren't big enough.
No, I think that's the cliche because a lot of my subscribers, they're just normal, average people.
Yeah.
They're not chiseled. They've not got massive. They're just normal people.
So they want it to be relatable.
They want it.
Yeah.
They want to be able to watch. It's like if you ever watch a movie and you can relate to that person, you have a much more better emotional connection to that film. And that's exactly what my videos are.
Yeah.
Like when they watch it, they're like, "Oh, that's roughly how I'd perform," or "Oh, I don't know how to do that position amazingly." So they can imagine themselves a lot more in the video.
Yeah, right.
And then also because we leave in the transitions as well of like getting to certain positions and like the awkwardness of like you know,
it's not smooth always. It doesn't always go straight in, or sometimes it pops back out.
When you tripped and almost like sat on his on the couch.
The sofa.
Yeah, Bonnie, like her foot fell through the couch cushion and she almost like crushed this guy.
It happens.
She almost like
death by Yeah, I've noticed that I've worked with both of you separately, and I've noticed that your editing style of the videos is like non-existent. You pretty much just
leave everything in.
Leave most of the video in. That's that's part of the actual scene.
I mean,
Whereas I like to chop it up so it's more like you're watching a. So it's like goes position to position without the I still put out a behind the scenes, but yours is like behind the scenes and the film in
all
one.
in one. Yeah.
Because people, when they're watching their video, they can scan over anyway. Like some people don't like the intros. If you're doing a bit of a storyline, they'll skip over that. And it's the same. I prefer them to have the realistic bits there. And some of them watch it purely to think, how did they get in that position?
Yeah.
Because I know when I used to watch when I was young, I was more interested in, like, how did they get into that position? How did they just go from sitting on his face to suddenly she's in how did they do that, and how did they make that look sexy?
We still struggle with getting people's sometimes. We're like, can you just do that prior?
I suppose that's kind of funny though, like if you've got that in there where you're struggling to get someone zipped down.
It
Honestly,
happens,
it
though.
does.
It's like people's pants aren't Velcro, so
People
like,
do love reality. It's so true.
It's like honestly, we were trying to like get it off, and like, or like some guys will come in and they've got like their thing double knotted, and I was like, how the I was like, this isn't like the boss
here's a
quest
padlock
for us to like, you know, try and figure out.
Yeah, totally. That's hilarious. Like triple knotted, like see if you can get this one open,
no,
ladies.
I do feel for guys though, because it's like some of the stuff girls wear, honestly, it must be insane trying to get girls' clothes off.
Yeah.
You know, once you, as a young man, once you crack the code of the one-handed takeoff,
Oh my God, that's like that first video we ever did. So I had this like...
Oh my God.
I don't even know what you call it. It's not like a bodysuit, but...
It was a...
like it's got like the middle bit as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Corset
like,
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like all hooked at the back. And me and Leilani were starting off in the video, like first time we've met each other. And I was like, okay, we'll start off kissing. And
then you undo...
And then she's there. And I'm like,
it was like
time.
8 buttons with individual little elastic loops. And I was like...
Making it easy for yourself.
We're like, cut. And then she left the 2 last ones on. I was like, this one's still awful.
Hilarious. Hey, that'll do it. So easy access, guys. If you're trying to have a good time, you want to make the transition from clothes smooth as possible.
Yeah, just have a little bit of a thought process.
Skip the underwear. Let it air out a bit before I'm out on
I feel so bad because like when I lost my virginity, I wore a sports pair of pants that zipped at the back, and I was on my and he was trying to take him off, the poor guy.
Nothing like an awkward like moment when you first when you're in like the beginnings of your like adventures, and you're like, man, you kind of do pick up ways to make things a little bit easier as time goes on.
But little 17-year-old me, she wore sports pants that zipped at the back, and he had gotten me on my back to
zipped at the back. That's
they
a nightmare.
zipped at the back, and he had me on. And he was like trying to pull him. I was like, you're going to break my pants. And then he's like, okay, I'll start with the top. Here's me with the sports. I was like, what the f? I was like, I was trying to keep my apparently.
Yeah, exactly. 17-year-olds don't know I didn't know You just mentioned like let it air out a bit before we get our mouths on it. Like I know, like when I was a 18-year-old, 19-year-old rugby player and I was on a Cancun trip with the rugby lads, I was like, do you get these guys to shower before they like come in or like what? No.
Do you know what's so cute though? Is like one of them came in and we were, and after he left, I went, I can taste his cologne.
Honestly, I would say all the spring breakers we've had and schoolies have been better, I guess, showered and freshness than some of the freshness.
They come really prepared.
Really?
There's been some content creators we've worked with. Me and Leilani will be and I'm looking at her, she's looking at me, and we're thinking, and then we sort of take it in teams. I'm thinking, right, I'm gonna now because I don't want to.
And we're like spit on it.
Let's get it really.
Trying to get it.
That's like my worst nightmare. Like for me, like I mean, for everyone, I guess bad hygiene is worst nightmare. But I would just expect by default that like gross late teens, early 20s dudes would be gross.
They put in so much effort.
They're so nervous, like they're excited. They've like covered themselves in links.
It's links.
What's it called?
It is called links. It's just funny because that is exactly what I wore when I was in my early 20s.
Just like
Links Africa.
They do put in so much effort. It's actually really cute how much effort they put in. Or like when they get there, they're like, oh, is there anything I can't do or I can do? Or like they really do check in. It's quite adorable.
Like we've there's one video, I even put a clip on Twitter. There's a guy who's videoing it like all for his Snapchat. These people videoing it for their friends. Like they're just like, I'm the balcony. He's videoing it straight for his friends.
It's a great promotional tool.
Or
like if you can get
talk about it.
if you can get on like the Snapchat viral with like 6 dudes who are sending it around to everyone, dude, like it's crazy.
There was one guy that finished before all of his friends, and he went up and he went, "Do you want me to hold the camera so you can enjoy?" Like it was so. He's like, "Don't worry, bro. I won't get your face in it." And he was there, and he's like, "Just enjoy, boys." And he's there, like, and he's like he was full taking one for the team. He's like, "Oh, it's all right. I finished early," but then he was there. He was like being really respectful. He was making sure that like he came over the camera.
That was a clip of I was a guy, and his mate like pops his head around to his mate going, is the angle good? He's like, yeah, this looks so good.
But it was quite cool.
You're actually converting like an army of young creators.
Exactly.
Right. I guess to play the devil's advocate, there are people, mostly girls in the industry, who are like, that is disgraceful that you're doing that to such young boys. They're so impressionable. You're going to ruin their lives. They're not meant to do And then like all the dudes, aka me, in industry are like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like, me at 18, I would have done it 100%.
Yeah.
Me at 19 would have done
It's
it. Me
like,
at 21 would have done
why
it.
wouldn't you? Like, it's safe when they're having with other people, like at spring break. They're not wearing not being safe. They're not talking about consent, like,
dude,
all their
I didn't.
consent.
What the was a condom before I was 25?
Exactly.
Honestly.
I didn't even know what that thing was.
No.
I literally never used it.
No.
I know. Like, I was bad. I was bad with him prior.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good. So we've kind of touched on what you do in industry and how you became like famous for what you do. And I will say, brilliant idea. Like, people love reality, and it is such a brilliant idea. And and I think people get a misconception of how young these men are, because in Australia, Schoolies is 18 to 19 to 20, but in America, it is Schoolies is like 21 plus, because you can't.
Spring break.
Some of them was roughly our age.
Well, because
right.
it was weird looking at some of the ages, because obviously spring break is just if you're in college, but you can be in college at any point in time.
No, if they're allowed to go and bomb someone, and I'll tell you what, they're allowed to go and destroy others.
Exactly.
No, but it is weird, because now that I've noticed that people know what the whole Schoolies and spring break thing, when I do my and they always include the age now, is that they're like, is that okay? And I'm just like, yeah, it's fine.
Do you get a lot of young dudes because of the Schoolies?
I get a mix. Like, I'd say a
promotion?
majority of my clients are normally mid-20s to mid-30s. But like, yeah, it is weird that they will kind of just like give me their age now. They're like, is that all right? And I'm like, honestly, it's a service, 18 plus service. As long as you're over 18, I really don't mind.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
But
yeah, awesome. This episode brought to you by BLCKWAVE Supplements. Go to their website, www.blckwave.com, and get the best supplements known to man. And how many trips have you done now? 2 so far?
Gold Coast,
Gold
Schoolies,
Coast,
we live there, so it's a bit different. And then we went to spring break, which was March.
When's the next Schoolies?
End of this year, so November to December.
Are you going to do Schoolies again?
Better.
Yeah, great. Have you got any? Are you going to do the exact same setup as last time?
No,
or have you got anything
we're trialing
new
something
planned?
a little different. So we're going to have 2 separate rooms. So we're going to do kind of like.
Sorry, can you explain the different, like what you had the first time?
Yeah.
Now what you're going to do?
So the first time we were staying, Bonnie was living at the Hilton, and I was staying with her at that time, and we did everything on her couch together. But this time we're going to do things a little bit different, where we're going to have, she'll have her hotel room, I'll have my hotel room. We'll do like boy girls separately, but then we will have certain videos where guys are kind of more willing to be. There's things like that kind of may need the two of us, or if we want.
Well, like with the previous Schoolies, it was the day it started, I decided I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
There was no preparation. It'd never been done. Like,
Where'd the idea come from?
They were messaging.
Yeah, loads of people was messaging. I was thinking I'll go and hand out business cards. And then I was thinking, if I'm handing out business cards, if I was to one of them, imagine how much that's going to spread. They're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to tell someone else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why not? I sleep with people anyway. Why don't try something different? And at the time, my OnlyFans was doing well. But everything was just average. I was like, and I'm not doing this to be average.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to do something that's different.
You have to. And that's everyone I know in industry who does really well is doing something so outside of the norm.
Exactly.
Like any night.
Yeah.
600 people in a year or whatever it works out to be. Like, people who are doing really well are doing something completely different. And you guys, and usually the girls do it really well, where they mix outrage with something legit.
Yeah.
So like Annie Knight, I'll use her again. It's not that it's wrong that she's doing that, but societal outrage is high, because they're like, girls shouldn't be total you you know what I mean? Like, but then she's like, but dudes could do it, and they're like,
Exactly.
she's right.
But then it's so odd, because like so many guys, they're like, I want a girl that's like knows what she's doing in bed, but she can't have actually ever done anything in bed.
Yeah, it's the only sport you're expected to be good at without ever practicing.
Yeah.
You
Well, we've got a full CV. Our CV is pretty big. Like,
You're what, sorry?
Our CV's
Yeah,
pretty
definitely,
big. Yeah.
definitely. You got a nice little resume, fatten that bad boy up. Yeah, so back to that, like, you guys are doing great because you're mixing the outrage of sleeping with innocent young children.
Exactly.
Honestly, some of them are
college boys.
With being legit. But it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I can't believe someone hadn't come up with it before, if I'm honest. I heard it the first time and I was like,
all my friends
brilliant.
was like, do not do that. Like, don't do it. And I can't even convince you didn't. I
Well,
was like, do
I
it.
wanted to wait
because they
till
were worried of the backlash?
No, I personally wanted to wait till the second week because in Queensland, majority of high school graduates are 17. And in New South Wales, when you graduate, you're 18. It's just the way they do their like their intake of schooling, like from grade 1 or prep or whatever.
Yep.
So I wanted to wait till the second week of Schoolies, but then Bonnie was like, well, if I'm already doing it, like I'm already doing it.
You're checking your IDs. It's not like you're going to accidentally a bunch of 17-year-olds.
Oh yeah, no, obviously.
It
was so awkward though, because at the end of it, there was some days where I went back to Brisbane and Bonnie was booking people in herself as well, and one of them was Samoan, and over Christmas I went to my family Christmas, and my little cousin was like, yeah, Schoolies this, Schoolies that, and my little cousin was 18 at Schoolies, and I was like, oh god, I think Bonnie might have slept with my cousin.
Did he?
Like, I don't know, I don't want to look at the videos.
Classic.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's so good. And you guys basically have been on a bunch of podcasts because of this. How have you found like that your OnlyFans and your social medias have blown up from all this goodness? Do you see a lot of people come on to specifically look at the Schoolies videos?
Yeah. Like, so at the time, I was worried that my current subscribers before I did Schoolies, I'd lose them for posting this content that was quite outrageous. I was like, they're going to lose interest, but they loved it. So I was thinking, is me 18-year-olds only targeting the young audience? But even the older clients, like I said before, because it's relatable for them, loved it. And I also have people buying, as soon as they log on to my OF, it's the Schoolies and Spring Break.
Schoolies and Spring Break, they want it, yeah.
Well, yeah, like when I was younger, watching a lot of the best was the more realistic stuff. Like, doesn't matter how kind of B grade it was and how much it looked like it was filmed on like an old phone. Like there used to be this one, like this casting couch, obviously, but then there was like Captain Stabbin. Do you remember this guy? He used to have a boat, and he used to call it Captain Stabbin because he was, I don't know, like it's like stabbing these chicks in the front, I guess. And he just had to check these chicks on a boat. They'd be partying, then they'd be. That was like, and it was like filmed in the most with the GoPro kind of old school GoPro like footage, and that was really popular, and like fake taxi and all this stuff. So like you're definitely on the right track.
Exactly.
And I always find it super duper interesting to see just how far women can push it compared to men. Because if I was to do like something like this, I feel like the backlash would be almost uncome back fromable. You know what I mean? Like
it'd be hard, but at the same time, it's like we got loads of hate saying, oh, if this was a guy doing it, that's wrong. It's still not wrong. And the other thing, the backlash you get, they was never going to subscribe to you anyway. So what does it matter from that backlash? Like, I get hate all day, every day. I'm like, it doesn't bother me because you was never going to sign up to my OnlyFans anyway. Like, you are not my target audience. Like, I want to pleasure your husband. I don't care about you.
But on top of that, like the backlash that we get as well, it's only given to us because they're Schoolies. There's guys and other people in this industry that are working with girls that have had their OF account since they were 18 and are now 18 going to 19, and they're working with all these content creators, and everyone's like, oh, but she's a content creator. It's like, yeah, she's still the same age as these Schoolies and Spring Breakers, but no one gives a that.
And guys make girls dress up as schoolgirls all the time. It's like a fantasy for everyone. It's like, we're not making them dress up. It's not fake, but they are like just finished school.
And then some of these people that like teen is one of the top categories in
Totally.
Like, so, and we're just...
Well, we're not capitalised. Like, I'm not going to do a business that's going to fail.
Yeah.
No.
And if teens are highly, like, searched category, then I'm going to make teen category.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I think also it would be a lot harder to do as a male because if, for example, if I was to go to Schoolies and be like, all right, me, Bonnie and Leilani are doing Schoolies. I'm doing the girls, you're doing the boys.
Yeah.
And I put like an application form out there.
Girls aren't as willing.
I doubt the girls are getting together
in
in
there. If you get a group of girls, can I join? Because I want.
Yeah, literally, we want girls. Like, we're getting like people are like, oh, could you have girls join this time? It's like we can't force people. Like we're not going to.
Not forcing anyone, but this is. I think
like,
that's the difference between the mindset of men and women, and especially young men and women.
Yeah.
Young men between 18 and 25. Like I was a war. I didn't have a brain of my own, especially when my was hard. I didn't have a brain of my own. Yeah. So like, especially if I was together with a bunch of lads and there was a beautiful set of ladies dangling their in front of me, I would be like, doing
But
this,
the other
boys.
thing, I think,
Hands in.
Yeah.
Woo! You know, like for sure. And I wouldn't even think twice about it. But I think girls are a lot more rational, and they don't. And I don't think it would be the booming business that you guys have created.
It'd be a lot harder. But I also think it's because girls don't receive as much pleasure in the bedroom.
Yeah.
I think, especially when they're younger, guys, because they're the one that physically come, too much gets focused on them. I think if more women, like especially these like teen girls, enjoyed sex, they'd be a lot
would
more
be
willing
something
to do it,
they
I think a lot of
voice it as much.
I think a lot of young women are very insecure in their bodies.
Yeah.
As well. I think what I have noticed from like being active from when I was 15 through.
You two got that out of the way early.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I was 13.
I literally
really
don't understand how I meet stars or people who do content who are very sexual, who are like, yeah, I lost my virginity when I was 17. I'm like, what the f*** you doing?
Mine was right before grade 12
yeah, like
started.
what the f*** you doing, nerd?
Bro, I went to an all-girls school, okay?
I feel like
They're
we've
even
switched
worse.
now. Like Leilani's now the not so innocent one,
Yeah.
and I'm the innocent one.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Catholic schoolgirls were always the best. They were always the ones who would do anal on the first date. So like that also surprises me when you're like, I was a Catholic schoolgirl, how could I? I'm like, what do you mean? Catholic
They're the
schoolgirls are the naughtier
Yeah.
ones.
Well,
So anyway,
I made up for lost time, okay?
Hey, you certainly are. But that's like where my head's at is that I always find it interesting when people are like a little bit older when they lost their virginity, especially when they're super sexual now.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed with girls is that like I actually stopped doing like not working but when I was like 25 I stopped sleeping with girls who were like I did a full switch to like 28 to 35-year-old women because they're just more comfortable in the bedroom, comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
It makes the whole thing more enjoyable when they know what they want.
Yeah.
Open to doing more stuff, happy to be there, like pumped, ready.
I think as well though, like from a private school girl perspective, coming from a school like that, you're kind of always told like, you know, you don't do this, you do like you have to keep yourself in kind of like a neat little package.
That's never worked though.
Almost.
But that's the whole reason why they
more rules, the more
yes.
And then
that's the reason why they're so promiscuous.
And then on top of that too, being in an all-girls school, I think I was very lucky I didn't have too many like issues with my body or anything like that. But like you're around girls constantly and you're constantly nitpicking on each other.
Oh
and
yeah, girls are super
you get
annoying.
onto the bus and then you
yeah.
And so it's like I feel like definitely coming from like maybe if a girl from going to schoolies is coming from an all-girls private school, you're gonna have a lot more potential.
I think girls in general. If you're like back when I was in like early high school, that was before Instagram. I'm 35 right now, and that was right just as Instagram was kicking off, just as Facebook was kicking off, 2004 to 2006. You know, 2000. I think I was 2001 to 2007 was my high school years. So right before the social media like boom, and it was magazines before that. Like everyone was comparing themselves to magazines, and then like noticeably as my high school years carried on, everyone started, the girls in particular, started to get this like body dysmorphia because of social media.
Yeah.
So I think girls in general, like it's always been the case where they've like compared themselves to, you know, the girl in the like the you know, back when the 90s it was Victoria Beckham. And how skinny she was.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, we are 10 years younger, so.
Yeah, true. True. But you know what I mean? Like it's I think like girls in particular, they age into their confidence.
Yeah.
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 So I'd
say like being in this industry has like massively helped my confidence. Like, I think there's some girls that come in and say, "Oh, it's absolutely destroyed my confidence and my mental health." And I say for us, it's been like the absolute opposite.
Yeah. But I think it is cool though, because I think it is hard being in this industry if you don't have support. And I think Bonnie and I know exactly what it's like because we can understand each other. We went through it together. So we have the same level of understanding, and it's like we have a support network because we're not going through it alone. Yeah. So I think that's a difference as well, potentially. Yeah,
definitely. And also I think you make your own confidence and depending on your brand and how you put yourself out there will depend on what kind of reactions you get from the public.
Yeah.
So
100%. I mean, we're loved by
I know, it's so but it was so weird though when Schoolies was unfolding because like the hate comments we got were drastically different. Like I got a lot from workers being like, why would you do this? You're like this, and this. Whereas Bonnie just got a whole bunch from like randoms being like, oh, this, that, the other, talking about your age and stuff like that.
She looks so old. She must be like 45. And I get it. Like every time I get hate now, I either get hate about my age or it's hate from plus size workers.
Yep.
That is my always go to, and the hate's either the plus size
a lot of the
service or the
a lot of the there's our industry is very left leaning. Like I would say they're very, very like what's the word, like politically correct. Things have to be a certain way or you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And they'll let you know. Yeah. So I'm not surprised.
But my comments are just full, and I'm like, it's not my fault you're not successful. Like, don't come at me. Like, I know if their bank balance was looking like mine, they would not have the time to sit and comment.
Yeah. It's like, respond to the people that are like actually trying to get you for bookings. Don't come message me.
It's so true though. Like the more things are popping off in a good way, the less you look outward and the more you think, how can I keep this ball rolling for myself? You know, so I think that's such a good point. Like look more inward, guys. Less outward to be spraying that.
100%. Yeah. I always find it amusing. So like, I look on their profiles and I'm like, you do the same job as me. You're just not successful. Like that's the only difference between us.
Well, what they would say is actually, Bonnie, I have a deal with myself that I don't sleep with anyone under 21.
But like, what's that?
Because anyone who does that is automatically a piece.
Do it. Yes, you would.
But like,
down on your knees.
It is a bit odd though, because it's like when you think about it in the sense of like Pepsi and Coke. If Pepsi goes and makes a sale, no one's out there being like, oh my god, Coke, and so it's kind of just odd sometimes that it's just like no one's really like when you're actually doing the work. No, you don't actually really care.
It's because it's in everyone's face. So, like for example,
but
like
if you're not in someone's face, how are you going to get paid? Like,
I agree.
No point having an OF on the sneaky side and no one knows about it because who's going to pay you?
It is odd when people I had a contractor come to my house and he's like, oh, you're Leilani. I said, yeah. And he goes, I used to have an OF page. I used to make so much money. And I was like, in the nicest way, I was like, well, I don't know about you. And OF isn't this thing that you make and you can do it quietly and make all this money. So I was just there. I was like, okay, like that's really great for you. But like I think a lot of people as well assume that OF is just this thing that you can make and then make all the money and you can do it so quietly, but it's not how it is.
I don't want to show my face or I don't want anyone to know it's me. Part of doing this job is receiving the hate. If you're not willing to take the hate, then you can't do it. I
went on a date like probably a month ago, 2 months ago now, with a girl, and she was like, man, I'd love to make some more money. She's like, could I do an OnlyFans? Like just joking around. Can I make an OnlyFans page? I'm like, sure. You could if you wanted to. Like it's not hard to do. Anyone can make one. And she's like, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to show my face. And I've got tattoos on my arm. Like, what would I do with that? I'm like, well, look, you're not going to make $1.
Yeah,
exactly.
The best one is we did someone in spring break and he's like, can you distort my voice? And it's kind of just like, okay, we're not showing your face if you and then he spoke the whole way through it and then was like, oh, could you mute it? And I was like, oh yeah, just distort the voice where I actually say stuff. It's like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. We're not going to sit here and like be like, oh yeah, it's fine, you can do it, you can do this. You either show your face or you don't show your face. But I can't sit here and edit out frame by frame your tattoos or edit out your voice or distort your voice. It's some people message us with some of the like
they want their cake and they want to eat it too.
Yeah, they'll message us with some of the strangest requests. Or like there was this one guy, he's like, oh, actually, I can see my ear in that, so you need to edit that out. And it was literally
like, mate, do you think you're famous? No one is going to recognise that ear. Like even your mum will not recognise that ear.
Yeah, no one gives a dude.
It is weird. Or like this one guy, he was like, oh, just don't put a photo of on like your Twitter or anything, which we didn't do. But he's like, yeah, my girlfriend knows what my looks like because I've got this vein here. I was like, oh my god.
How many of these dudes that was coming to work with you guys, sleep with you guys, how many of those were taken? Had
gotten messages from girlfriends. It was so weird. This one girlfriend was like, oh yeah, I heard that my man tried to move to you. I was like, what's going on?
Move to you?
Yeah, they're from the UK.
Oh, okay. That's like tried to hook up with you?
Yeah, and then she was like, yeah, just girl to girl, just let me know, like this, that, the other. I was like, girl, I don't have time for this. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's funny, my sister helps with my Instagram. So she'll go through some of my messages and she's like, she gets messages from girlfriends all the time. Yeah. She's like, she messages me like, did you sleep with this person? I'm like,
how are we meant to know?
I don't know.
And then she's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend has a mole next to this cool like that. I'm like, girl, I'm not in there.
My sister's so sensitive and she's like, oh my god, I think you just broke another couple up. And I'm like,
well, it is what it is.
I mean, we're not sitting there. Anyway. We're not sitting there telling them cheat on your girlfriend. You know, he made the decision to come into the room to sign the consent form to finish on our.
Yeah, that's right. But, hey, decisions. Yeah, so they do all paperwork, then like It's all legit. Have you had any guys get cold feet afterwards, ask you to take the content down? Is that a thing?
No, like
No
the only one that I would say was close to it was the guy that said, "Oh, could you distort out like my voice?"
I can't even remember which one. I can remember that conversation. But I
Yeah,
can't remember which one
I
that
can't
is.
remember. I know it was at spring break, and he was like, and it was after we had already posted it, and then he went, "Yeah, just need you to distort my voice," and we were like, we'd already spoken about what we can and can't do with the footage, like, and
But they all love it because I send them the videos once it's
Yeah.
done, and they all
Yep.
love it. Like
Do
they're
they-
so impressed.
Has anyone, because they're already in it like now to a degree, has anyone been like, I'm just going to start my own OnlyFans and just have this on the
know.
Some
side?
people say, "Oh, do you think I'd be able to do it?" And like some of them are about 100%.
some of them, honestly, I reckon they could. Yeah,
Dude,
we had one guy send his video to his mum.
Yes. Oh my god, he was so
What?
excited.
And then it was funny because he saw us out by the pool in Cancun and he was like, "Boys, do it. I was the first video with them. I had my face out. Just do it,
Yeah.
boys." And he's like, yeah, and he came up to Bonnie and I was like, "Yeah, I sent it to my mum." And mum went, "Oh, probably don't send that to me again. Hey, son." But he was so proud.
It was
and
our biggest. They was like, "Oh my god, like sleep with them. They're so
Yeah.
much fun."
he was telling everyone. It was so funny.
Yeah.
So how many videos do you get on a trip? So you do a 3-week trip to
It all depends.
spring break. What do you come back with?
See, like,
It
we've still
depends.
got videos to
Yeah.
edit for spring break.
Right.
Because there's
So
just
much.
so many videos. And obviously,
Yeah.
per time you film with someone, you probably get like 10 or 12 different clips. And they all just merge into one. Like
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm looking through my folders to edit and I'm like, who's who? Like,
Yes.
who's like, which part of this video goes to this person?
Well,
Yeah.
there's one that was easy though. He left his shoes on, and Bonnie's like, "We just need the POV of the guy that left his shoes on for this
Yeah.
bit." It was so weird. He was so proud of his shoes. He's like, "I need them people to know I'm American,"
Yeah,
and he
he's
had
like-
American
Yeah.
shoes.
What do you
on.
have, like Jordans
No,
or something?
he had these American flag shoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Patriot.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Patriot.
He
Shoot
was
for
pulling
America.
your hair too hard. He kept
Oh my
moving
gosh.
all over the hotel room. It was so annoying.
That hotel room was disgusting.
Oh yeah, I feel so bad because the two beds were together, but Bonnie's bed didn't have the like table in the way. So Bonnie's bed was the one that got majority of the stuff on it, and then here's
Nice.
me just sleeping. And every night I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Just come sleep on my side of the bed so you don't have like all over your bed." And every night you'd fall asleep in the one that we
Perfect.
took.
I'd have under my pillows. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
yeah, they were just.
And
it
we
was
would
disgusting.
How
would
many
request
how
for
many
the-
videos per day were you doing?
like 6.
Yeah, like it
minimum.
really depends. Like, because sometimes we do like big groups. So if that day we won't perhaps do
Yeah.
as many.
There was
Yeah.
one day where the electricity went all out, so we couldn't film that day. So that was
So it was like pool day with
Yeah.
them. Had a party.
Great.
Oh yeah, that was the one where we
Great.
did the powder and stuff, wasn't it?
That went everywhere.
And then there was like we ran into a magician. There was like this huge bottle of Belvedere.
Yeah.
It was quite a fun little day.
Amazing.
But-
Sounds so good.
It's fun. It's good. It's crazy. I'm just like, how is this my job? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
it's crazy. I always say like I am so grateful, whether it's like the 18-year-olds that are sleeping with me or the
Yeah.
dads that are purchasing the videos.
Like one of them even messaged us. He's like, "Hey, I've got the penthouse here in America. Where
Oh,
was it?"
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, if you two want to come in, we're just gonna do this at the casino. This. I think it was in Vegas. Yeah, they just invite us to like. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna
Right.
celebrate my birthday. Like, come on over."
Everyone likes fun girls. Everyone likes fun
Exactly.
people.
No one wants a boring person.
No,
I mean, I am
100%.
actually quite boring.
It is
but-
funny because I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen Bonnie drink. Like, she's only drank like twice since.
In
Yeah.
real life,
Cancun.
like I'm the same. Like boring.
You
quite
two are the boring ones.
quite boring. But
In
like
bed with
but I can turn it on. Like when
Yeah,
when I'm
exactly.
when it's go time to have a good time, I can turn that on.
Yeah.
But I'm just not the guy that's out every weekend at the club. I'm not the guy that's drinking at the beach
You don't
bar.
have to be
You know.
like
Yeah.
that. Like, you can
No.
still be fun.
I think
but,
it's just the
like,
energy.
Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
a daytime fun person. I'll do fun things during the day, but in the evening, no thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Here's me coming back to the apartments at like 1 p.m. the next day after drinking. I'm the complete opposite. I could stay
Yeah.
out all night.
Yeah,
Like,
you're a night owl.
It's
I'm not a night owl.
it's the Islander in me. I feel like we're just born to drink. We're taught to drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, Pepsi Max, please.
Yeah, same. Pepsi Max, extra ice. Thank
Yes.
you. What was your shortest? Because so when I could only imagine. Like I've always had pretty good stamina, but when I was younger, it was a lot less than it is now because I'm a lot more excited, a lot more pumped to be there. Probably like halfway on the way to like finishing before I even take my pants off.
Exactly.
So when I saw that you were doing a lot of like inexperienced young men, I was like, man, although that's a great idea,
Yeah.
they might end up with a bunch of 30-second to 3-minute videos.
No.
30 seconds, that sounding quite generous.
I know.
Really?
Shortest video was 9 seconds.
Yeah, we
9
pulled his
seconds.
pants down and it was already like there.
And
Finishing.
the tip, touch finished.
Yeah.
And we had like that other guy that I can't remember
Oh,
his
and he
name.
wiped his your couch.
Yeah, so we had this other guy
What a
from the
dude.
Schoolies. He'd finished, but he didn't want to tell us. I mean, he could have told us that because we always say you can go for multiple rounds, like you do whatever you want to us, use us as a toy.
Yeah.
And like I noticed this like weird stain on the sofa.
He
and
had
he did
like
this like belly like like himself. And when I watched back on the video, because then he started to go like a bit soft.
And we were
was
like, oh,
do you
what's
want a
going
break?
on?
Like, are you
Yeah.
okay? And then I watched the video back and I realised he'd already
he'd like done
That's
this.
so
didn't want to
funny.
tell us and dragged his along the sofa to clean it.
What a gangster. He just he's like
was
James
so
Bond
funny.
007, just
Like, doing a belly
sneakily.
slide, trying to hide the evidence.
Yeah,
That's what's
bless
up.
him.
That's
And
what's
just left
up.
a stain on my sofa.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Good. He didn't want the good times to finish. That's good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes, unfortunately, just when it's time to go, it's time to you know.
We've had some videos like 60 minutes. And that's
Yeah.
still my best-selling video, and that was 2 Schoolies last year.
And they showed their
60
face
minutes.
as well. Yeah.
60 minutes.
Yeah.
They were really good. Like they
How old were they?
They were both 18.
I slept with the other guy again.
You
didn't
did.
I? Yeah.
There was one where he was spitting in our mouths. They were pulling our hair, slapping. They got into it. There was one though that just he kept edging himself, and I had to go get Bonnie. I was like, Bonnie, can you please come help
I was
me?
in the other room, and I was thinking, are they still going? Like
Yeah.
that's been going on for a long time.
I was there. I was like, I was begging this 18-year-old. I was like,
To trying to
please. He's there shaking, and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, I'm close, and then he'd like slowly let go, and then he'd do it again, and then I'm like, oh my god, this poor boy looks like we was having a
They're always
seizure.
like, oh, I'm so sorry, but like it happens even with content creators. Sometimes they struggle to finish. Sometimes we whip out the fake.
Yeah.
Sometimes like it's all staged, and that's the thing they don't understand because they don't get to watch porn that's like this.
Yeah.
They don't understand how fake it can be, and that can sometimes really like make it difficult for them because they watch that online, and then when they go to see a girl, they expect they're going to perform like that, and that's not always the case. So when they watch that, sometimes you might find that girl really attractive and want to sleep with her, but you might not get. Might not finish, or you might finish really quickly, and that doesn't mean you're bad or anything like that. It's just that
it's just part of the experience. I mean, like there's like I feel like they assume that you can't try again, that you can't go again, or that there's
shame in finishing early, or there's
Sometimes
shame.
I always say it's like secretly really hot. Like I was sleeping with a guy like back in January, and like occasionally he'd finish like really quickly. I mean, like a bit too quick, but like it's hot sometimes. I think like, oh, you was enjoying it that much, he's finished it. Like it's secretly hot.
Totally. When I did my 31 days of not touching my at all because I broke it. Like towards the end of it, in like the last 4 or 5 days, my it was back to normal. Like, and I knew it was going to be okay. But I was at the point where I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to make it to 30 days because that's a month. I'm going to not bust for a month.
Yeah.
And this girl came over who I'd just been on a few casual dates with. And like, we basically had like,
Yeah.
but I would have this never happens for me. I would have to stop like every 2 minutes to be like, stop, I'm about to stop. So and she would say the same thing because I was like, in my head, I was like, that felt really good, but that was like 30 minutes of not much fun for her because we weren't really going hard at all, and I had to start, so I didn't. And she was like, "There's a hottest scene." She's like, seriously, like the fact that I was like,
they're enjoying it so much because sometimes guys, up until they're about to finish, they don't really say too much.
Yeah, they don't.
Whereas knowing they're really enjoying it. More, like
I can't.
Yeah, she was like, the fact that you were like nearly busting and I was like controlling it and milk, like basically, but like
actually so hot,
like edging you. She's like, it was amazing.
I can't get over the one spring breaker that I was like, he kept getting so close and then trying to make himself stop, and I was like, okay, cool, and then he finally went, I'm gonna finish in the back of my. Then after he'd blown his in the back of my throat, goes, by the way, I finished. I was like, I know, yeah, thank you.
By the way,
For that, he's like holding my head. He's like, yeah, I finished. I was like,
amazing,
yeah.
So, what's the rate of function in young men? Did you see any of that while you were on your endeavors?
There was a few that I feel that they were honest. They're like they'd never had with a condom, and it would be the condom was the issue.
We used with condoms on as well? No. Cool.
Yeah, like the issue for a lot of them when it got to actually was putting the condom on and them staying to be able to for a lot of them because they just openly said they'd never actually used a condom for so that was a little bit.
Sometimes the big groups, I'd say that there was that one time when I took 2 of them on the balcony.
Yeah, and the 2 that
4 guys, the 2 really nerdy ones I took. And they was the ones that was not talking the talk, and we thought, they might struggle. One of them was like covered in spots, braces, just dead geeky looking. The other two was like rugby players, they're confident, and you had them too. But it was the confident ones that struggled to get because they kept looking over at my little two geeks. Yeah. And it's like, I can't believe your size. Like, I can't believe you're that packing.
But I will say the one...
Nothing to compensate for. The nerds, like, you better watch yourself. Like, nerds are packing.
Yeah.
They're watching a lot of and they're ready in the wings. They're ready in the wings.
He was good.
They're doing their research.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm. Like when I was younger, I was a nerd. I was in the marching band when I was younger. Even it's cute, super cute. Every proper star that I know is actually closet nerd.
Oh
like if you like a lot of the girls in America that I talk to, they're like when they're not actually doing like playing World of Warcraft or
like this weekend I went fishing. Like I go wakeboarding.
There it is.
Like, it's my...
You're an outdoorsy person. Here's me, played the saxophone and piano growing up. I like my puzzles, and then I did a science-based degree. Like,
there you go, and that's all. Like, it's pretty common. Like, we're not partiers usually. They're not like,
I'm like,
anyone can love and anyone as well. Like, God, the Queen would.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I doubt it.
Nah, she definitely.
She would have had a cute little pillow there.
Yeah, true.
Pillow down on her knees.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we all do it just so we get paid for it. Like you don't have to have a certain personality or a certain anything. Like we all can love but be nerds.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with enjoying everyone.
No.
Yeah. No shame in it. You're probably doing it better than like the girl that's doing it every single weekend to a different dude at a nightclub for free.
No, for a vodka lime soda.
And never gets a call back. So like,
for sure.
You know, we all have our ways of doing it, I guess. Have you seen any trends in the younger generation so far when it comes to new like this different they are having compared to older men in their mid-20s, mid-30s?
I would say a lot of the younger guys are more willing to have like a finger up. Yeah. They're like, I had one of my videos of the spring breaker. He asked for it as well. So that
you notice like sometimes when you can see them like getting their arse ready. Like you can tell they're wanting you to go there.
Yeah.
Whereas before that would have been like, oh my god, no, I'm gay.
Like,
exactly.
Don't lick my arse, I'm gay. Like whereas now
they're like
tell so many guys when, like if you're like then and you can sort of tell that like just the way they position themselves, they're like, you want me to go further.
Yep. Especially I think especially in the new generation. Like back when I was younger, homophobia and just homophobic language in general was just part of the lexicon of language in the Australian culture where it's like, what are you, gay? Or like it was just part
of course.
How you would tear someone down.
Yeah.
And I think just that in particular in the last 20 years has been megally changed, megally suppressed. So it's no longer as much of a underlying air of homophobia in Australia in particular. I can't speak for America, but I think that in particular, back when I was a kid, that's where all this like, back when I was younger, that's where probably all these guys are like, don't touch at all.
100%.
Not because I don't like it, but because I'm scared of what that will mean or what that, whatever. So I feel like that has been taken out of the lexicon. So now dudes are like, you're a chick, I'm not gay, touch
Put your finger in, put your tongue in.
Yeah, exactly. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
They love it.
Yeah, it makes sense. We love an open-minded generation.
It's quite cool. Like, I think it's cool. Or like they're more willing to do kind of like, or some of them come a bit more, they're more forward with like, I've watched your stuff. I can't, like, I'd love to try this. Like I think they're just more open to like chatting about what they want to do or things like that.
We don't really have like bad experiences.
Yeah.
Like, I think when they think 18, they think, oh, it's going to be shocking. It's not like we finish like majority of the times like in our videos and like they're all good. Sometimes we whip out toys with them. Sometimes like we have so much fun and they're a lot more experienced than what people think. And you don't start at 18. Like they've been having a while already.
Yes.
And they're sort of making out as if, oh my God, they've never had before, it's not on them. Like some of them are virgins.
Yeah.
But the ones that are virgins, like we're helping them out because if not, one, you're going to get picked on for still being a virgin, and second of all, the longer you're a virgin, the more nervous and the more like built up it becomes to be. So like we're genuinely doing God's work.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I do. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, the longer you wait, I feel like you really build up this idea of losing your virginity to be this like amazing, crazy thing. Even like I remember in high school, people used to do it with their first kiss, and I'm like, first kiss. My mum always said to me, she goes, "Your first person you date's not going to be your forever person. Like that's near enough never ever going to happen." And so, to be fair, Mum just trained me to be a this. She's like, don't worry, first boyfriend, not an issue. There'll be more.
Great. Worked out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking more in regards, like, I'm not surprised that they're good in bed because this is the first generation that's watched a lot of early. So I was more curious if it's more than older
some
generation.
Some of them with the hair pulling.
It
Like,
depends.
I've been like thrown around by some of these teenagers.
Yeah, like, because I would say that my education growing up, like, my parents were didn't talk about
Yeah.
it wasn't a subject that was ever broached. I never got the sex talk.
Oh, really?
No, never. I never got the sex talk. I never got any of that. And I was brought up by as my sexual education. And also...
That's the same for so many people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also read it. Like, I would look at, like, how to eat best and read a thread on eating or, like, how to make us the thread on that. You know, so...
You did your research?
Definitely.
I actually had a guy I was sleeping
Why
with.
wouldn't you?
No, I had
Why
a guy
wouldn't
that I
you?
was sleeping with in Townsville, and he had this app, and it had a on it, and it would have little, you had to pay for it, it'd have little games with, like, haptic feedback, and it'd be like, do this to the and come down here.
My God.
Honestly, and it was
This
so
is the
funny.
new age.
It was so funny. Yeah, he was a bit younger than me, and but yeah, I thought it was so funny because he full on was like purchasing these apps, and when we were sleeping
it's
together,
smart.
he was like, I want to see if I can make you do this, and I want to try this, and I
Great.
want to do this, and I was like, oh yeah, but like I thought it was so cute. I was like, the geekiest way to like approach doing. How fun is that?
I think it's
like,
smart though. Like, I think as a dude, like, this is a little bit of advice, man to man, fellas. If you're like younger and you don't really know what you're doing, there is so many resources out there online that aren't just hardcore for you to find out how to do it properly. Like, you can become a god without ever having just reading what the experts have to say.
I've got some solo videos on my page, and my solo videos that do the best are the ones where I'm talking. I'm like, oh, this is how I like to be out. This is how I like to be. It's more like you're not necessarily watching it to wank off and come. You're watching it
to
because
know.
I'm saying, oh, this is how I enjoy to be pleasured. Especially when I used to be a full service worker, I'd like recommend that video to people, or they'd watch it and be like, oh, that's what she enjoys. And like those videos do well, and they're more like educational as opposed to me being, railing myself with a
or opposed to a JOI where you're like telling
Bonnie's good
them
at
how to
talking and explaining it. Here's me. I'm like, do whatever you want to do. I'm so
bossy. I'm like, right, do this. Right,
I'm not. I'm such a little. I'm just like, tell me what you want me to do to put me wherever. Like I'm.
And that is,
I feel like
and that's
too
legit.
many people, like especially my personal, used to be terrible. I'd sleep with people and be too worried about pleasing them and not thinking about myself. I'd be thinking, I want them to think I'm really good. I want them to have such a good experience, which is all good. But then I'd walk away and I wouldn't have enjoyed it. So now I'm like, no, I'm walking away having we're both having a good time.
So and that's the way it should be. It's a game, fellas. It's a dance. You're doing a dance.
Yeah, as well though. Like everyone's different as well. So I think that's the hard part too, because it's like one girl can enjoy one thing, but then it's like you go to a different girl. So it is.
But if you're dating, so for example, if you're having someone in a non-schoolies come to my hotel and make a video way, you're going probably, if you're a young guy dating a girl once again not at schoolies, just in real life, you're probably going to go on a few dates, 2 or 3 dates before you end up having, and by then you should have a good gauge of whether they're a submissive personality, whether they're into the same things. So you don't have to be like creepy and ask them what they're into. You get an idea of what the personality is like and how it meshes with you. Like, I always knew girls after like the second date, I would know whether the sex was going to be good or not, because there are some girls who are not interested in being that submissive. You know, and that's not like a bad thing. It's just they would want someone who they would be better suited to someone who was more submissive, so they could be a more dominant personality in the bedroom. Like whenever I would sleep with someone, and it would be always bad sex if I was like suited with a dominant personality, like someone who wanted to be the boss in the bedroom. I'm like, well, I'm the boss, but the thing is that whenever
what are you supposed to do? Fake it when they push you over? Like, oh my god,
this actually,
exactly.
I got a customer request. I need to talk to you about this. So I got a customer request asking for you to me.
Yes, that surprised me.
And they're like, would you ever dominate Bonnie? I was like, I don't know if we could ever make that happen. I think I'd giggle.
And that's right, because you're a and she's a little bit more. Right? And when I was younger, I would still, like, because I wanted to have like as a 21-year-old or whatever,
Yeah.
I would still sometimes go through with it, even though I was like, oh, she's a dominant personality, but maybe it'll be good. It was always bad.
Yeah.
So my advice to everyone is figure out what you are, sub, dom, what you like, what you don't like. The person, like, take note of the personality types you're dating and who are more matched to you and your personality and your type. Like, everyone's got a way they have sex. Like, I could name 3 or 4 different male creators and put in Australia and put our videos back to back to each other, and we're all different. The way we do it, how sensual it is, compared to how dominant it is, compared to how verbal it is, compared to how we finish, whatever. So find what's good for you.
Find what's good, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. So, ladies, what's from here? What's the plans? Because I will say, a genius idea. Are you just going to keep going to different young people events and just be? You know what you should do? Like, not to be like, here's what you should do after asking what you're going to do, but go do like a festival tour. Go to like Tomorrowland.
No, sorry, no,
for me,
you'll find me at Afro Nation if I'm going to anything.
I have no idea what Afro Nation is.
Oh my god! No, see, this is because I'm more known for, I guess, a lot more of my subscribers are men of color or black men. So also just like Afro beats and R&B and things like that. So
what is that? Is it a festival? Or?
Yeah, so Afro Nation. It's my friend just went there. It's in, where is it? But my friend
like
just
overseas,
went. But
Europe,
it's like so think like Burna Boy, like all of those like Afro beats, kind of like Nigerian, like African artists.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Literally
so
no idea.
If I were to go to anything,
Brian?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Bonnie's a country girl. No, if I were to do anything, because the way I first started on my OF was majority of my videos were with black men. Yeah. So if I were to do any festivals, probably going to be Afro Nation and things where there's more people of color.
I was thinking more just in general to get younger people.
I visited a building site when I was back in the UK. And
I saw that.
Really well.
How many dudes did you see off the building site?
There was 8. So they were just like, took them their little packed lunch, and then we did like a big video in like their staff room.
What?
Yeah.
How did that work?
Cute.
Well, of course, like, you know, whenever you walk past, you get wolf whistled, or like they're like, oh, you know, I'd like to fuck her and stuff. And I was like, why don't I make it reality? The amount of builders that would be subscribed to my page anyway, they're gonna love that video. Yeah.
Did their boss get in on it? Like, how did they get permission to?
Supervise was in on it.
That's good.
Yeah, but it was good.
Great. All right. And were their faces in it or out of it?
In.
Oh, really?
In.
There are so many dudes about to get fired because of this video. That is, I guess, the thing that people worry about the most is when their identities are available that'll ruin their lives. Blah blah blah.
Guys, don't get any tattoos from your stomach down, because then it don't.
If you want to be faceless. But it's interesting that those dudes would even allow themselves to be face in, because
I thought they wouldn't show
never.
their face, but it was like they're on their lunch break, like they're doing nothing wrong.
I mean, to be fair,
nothing wrong. I'm just curious to me, the mindset of these gentlemen where they're like, put
I think
face
sometimes
in.
like their positions, like, and we always say this, like, if you are showing your face, sometimes you're a lot less restricted in the positions, the angles, and how much you want to do. Like, if you want to be throwing me around the room everywhere and moving around,
can't do,
and you're not going to want to focus on POV holding the camera. If I'm putting a tripod up and stuff, we can just get on with it a lot.
I agree. Oh, you're talking to someone who is face out in my movies because of that.
I think that's why sometimes the guys that we film with, whether it's the Schoolies, Spring Breakers, or builders, will sometimes show their face because they're like, I just want to have fun.
I feel like may as well just start getting ballies for some people, because some of these
ballies. What's a ballie? Oh, yeah.
Because some of these guys genuinely move around so much, and I'm like,
like
some of these guys move around so much. I'm like, wish I just put a balaclava on them or something, or like a bandana or something, because some of them just move around so much.
Did any of the boys mention how different trying to film and same time is? Were they like, this is way harder than I thought it was?
I think they don't realize that some of them, they get too into like making sure they get a good video for us, that they realize like, oh, shooting content isn't everything, because you're focused on the viewfinder. Or some of them aren't even focused on the viewfinder, that they're just like, wow, amazing, and you just get their stomach or the top of my head. You don't even see anything.
That's such a common gripe from women in industry who have gotten sick of working with male creators because of controversy or whatever, and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to get a guy from Tinder who is willing to and film it. And almost always they always say, I sacked that idea after like the Tinder Boy 2 because they're not interested in filming, they're interested in So usually the video is dog and it's like they're just doing it, and it could be really good, but most of the time it was like you're saying, like they get like you know, you get into like a groove where they're having the best time. They're, oh, and then they realize that they were like filming her upper back as opposed to the front of them. So yeah, I think doing a lot of the filming yourself, you realize, I'm sure all these guys were like, man, actually a lot harder than it.
Yeah.
I think the big difference, if I was filming, say if me and you was filming a video and was filming POV and you just filmed the top of my head and got distracted and filmed the floor a lot, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
With these guys, it's more about giving them an experience.
Yeah.
Yes, we're getting the video out of it. Back when with the first Schoolies one we just did, I said to you, like, we'll focus on giving them a good experience. Like, we need to get the video, but if we don't focus on the cameras, if something goes wrong with the camera, forget about that.
Just
give
make
them
sure.
a good experience because they're the ones that are going to go and spread the word. We've sat with them. So give them a good time. The rest will sort itself out.
Like, even, like, we've done a video with POV males before, and we did one, and he went, do you know how hard it is holding this and he was like, I'm just going to put the camera down. And
so
I was like,
POV,
bro,
right?
you're POV. And he's like, I'm sweating. The camera's moving like this. I was like, bro. He's like, yeah.
I was rolling my eyes.
Oh, it was such an annoying video. And then we didn't even want to edit it because literally in the thing, we've got the static camera going and he's a POV content creator that doesn't show his face. And then he's there and he's like, and in the video, he's just like, do you know how hard it is? This is really hard to do this and hold this and do that. And I was like, then don't do POV.
To do POV.
Yeah.
And then he literally, we're getting back shots, he puts the camera down, and I was like, "Excuse me, you're meant to be a creator as well, and you're getting angry at us because it's too hard to hold this stupid camera."
Hey, I don't do much POV. Like, there are parts of my videos, like few minutes of my video that I'll do POV for sure. But it's not that I don't like POV. I think POV is a very sellable type of because it really puts the watcher, the consumer, in the driver's seat. Yeah. But to actually film it, it is
it's
very.
A lot.
It just makes it a very alien experience because some people use iPhone. I've got a big old camera that I'm holding in my hands and I'm like using it. You know, people don't realize to get the angles. Like, if you're doing POV, for example, you might do a close up where you're holding the camera near your belly button, but then you might with it above your head, trying to get your chest and their body and the back shots in. So there's a lot to it, but like, if you choose to be a POV creator, you can't complain about it.
I know, he was complaining about it. He went put it down.
And then he said to us, "Oh, put my hand on the bag," and it just slipped down with sweat. I mean, like, you can sweat, but like, this was
it was
just a sweat
disgusting.
bath. We got a terrible video, and then like an established content creator. And that was the one that we did a lot of.
Because he came like. Bless him. He came to Bonnie's apartment, and mind you, I was in Brisbane, and we'd meant to start at like say 2:30. He got to Bonnie's at like 12:30 and was like, "Don't worry, we're just gonna." He's like, "Don't worry, we're just gonna get some work done together." And then he goes to Bonnie, "So should we do a boy-girl scene?" And Bonnie was like, "You're not meant to be here till 2:30. Like, Leilani's not even left." Yeah, she's like, "Leilani's not even left Brisbane yet." And then he's like, "Oh, don't worry, we can do some work together." And Bonnie was just like, "Okay."
I was like, and then the other thing with content creators, leave after I film with you.
Like, he was like Bonnie and I were like, oh my gosh, we had a double to do. We needed to go get some like food and everything like that. And he's like, okay, so where are we going? What are we doing? And we're like, oh, we're just going to run to Coles, get ourselves an energy drink. And he goes, oh, so I'll come with you then. And then Bonnie was like, oh, actually, you know what? I can't be bothered to do the double. You go by yourself, Leilani. And then I was like, okay, no worries. I'll rush off. And then he goes, all right, Bonnie, so what are we doing, a restaurant then? And Bonnie was just like, oh my God, like, he just wasn't picking up what we were putting down.
I find that so weird. I'm very lucky. I've never really had to deal with that outside of 2 or 3 creators who just didn't get it.
I'm not your friend.
No, exactly. And not, and you know, we are friendly with some people, but like, for the most part, if I'm meeting you, if you've come in from out of town or never really worked with together before, like, you need to treat it like a business interaction.
Like, because you don't actually know that person yet. It's like Bonnie and I, like, I just offered to drive her home after our first meeting, like our first scene, because it was raining, and that was just me being like, nice. But like, there's other people where we'll finish a scene and it'll be the first time ever meeting them. Oh, we'll go for drinks before, we'll go for lunch before, we'll go for this after, we'll go for that after. It's like, no, I've got to go edit, I've got to go do my messages, I've got to go plan my next thing. It's like,
I find when I go to America and collab, a lot of the times they're like a little bit more, because they know I'm from like Australia, they're like, hey, if you want to do something afterwards, I can take you to In and Out. Or I'm like, great, that's a great idea. But the hanging around like a bad smell and like not picking up the signs that you're overstaying your welcome.
Bless Bonnie. She's like, yeah, afterwards I've got to do this, and this. And then in between them cutting takes, he's packing up.
Oh, bless him.
Was this the same guy?
No,
this is someone else. And I was Mr. Iconic. I was winding him up because I shot with him the day before.
Yep.
And we did like 3-4 scenes. And I said like, oh, I hate it when content creators hang around stuff. But he's lovely. Like if he wanted to go for lunch afterwards, would happily gone for lunch. And then the next day, like obviously all he could do is remember me saying, I hate it when people hang around.
So he's like, I'm just going
and
to
then
pack.
was like panicking.
Yeah, it was so funny. He's like, don't worry, I've not taken my stuff all out my bag. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's all contained right here. I'm ready to go.
That's good.
Like,
I mean, end of the day, last thing you want to do as a male creator is make any of your female counterparts feel uncomfortable at all.
Exactly.
And as a bit of advice to anyone, just on the back of this conversation is just treat these interactions, even though we're all very friendly and we all are friendly friends, but we're not friends.
Yeah.
Like
I think when you go into, if you worked in an office, you wouldn't invite everyone over for dinner.
Yeah.
But you work with everyone. And that's the same with us. We work with everyone, but I'm not necessarily inviting you back for dinner.
Yeah.
Like, eat our but you're not eating, like, we're not going for dinner.
Yeah. And it sounds ridiculous to the general public, I'm sure, where they're like, what, you can eat your can't go to lunch? I'm like, it's different.
No, it's like, but like when you finish a shift at a normal job, you don't go, oh, do you know what I feel like doing? You come over and doing this with me and doing that with me. Like, so it is like.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you. I've had someone like overstay their welcome here when I was like not in a good mood.
Yeah.
And I didn't like still hung out for a few hours, but I was like, man.
And then here's Bonnie and I. She's like, oh, do you want to come back on Sunday? We shared your friend, your
Perfect dreams. What dreams are made of?
Exactly.
Yeah, great. So I don't think we got there. What are your plans for the next trip? Do you have a trip planned or
UK in September for freshers? Yeah.
And then it'll be Gold Coast after that.
For Schoolies, from November till like mid-December.
Yeah, I think Schoolies starts 16th of November for 2 weeks. So see you there, boys.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And do you guys sell all of your, do you do like I on my OnlyFans, I do one release a week, one new release every week. Do you do multiple releases a week because you're pumping out hundreds of videos? It depends how much content
I've got backed up.
Sometimes it can be like one a day, especially when we're actually at spring break. It's like one a day.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think mine's like 4 a week. But it's because so many people want to keep doing joint release dates.
Oh, joint release dates are annoying. Like, I have a lot of stuff coming out that's just because I cut my hair. So I've got so much long hair content to just be like, okay, let's release that. So that all my short hair content is coming out and everything's actually up to date with how I look now.
I literally, unless someone's really adamant about releasing on the same date because it's fair or whatever it is.
Yeah.
To be honest, most of the girls I work with, we probably don't have one singular sub that's shared, to be honest.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I try and avoid it. If someone's like, when do you want to release this? I'm like, you release it whenever you want.
I always say
I've
that,
got 8 weeks of things lined up in the future.
It's like,
and then I might just send it out like on the day that you send it out.
Yeah.
Just so it's available in everyone's DMs, but I won't post it on my page or advertise it until it's due in 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, because I've got 8 weeks of things already set up to come out.
Yeah.
So, like for me, I like it just makes things so much harder to organize. But I will say it does create more sales when you're maybe not like the young freshers guys because they don't have social media. I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're not like pushing it either.
No.
But when you're working with another creator who's got a pretty good platform and you coordinate a week before to do 2 or 3 posts each, like it does culminate to more sales
it
for
is
that
funny
video.
When like people, like even if we'll say like, or even if I'll be like, oh, let's just post it at any time, they'll still come back and be like, I'm going to do it at this time. Is that okay with you? Is that okay with you? It's like, any time. Go for your life. Oh, well, I'm going to do it at this time, at this date, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yep. Anytime's fine. But are you okay with that? I'm like, anytime.
I also think a lot of male creators are a little bit over precious with the girls because
there's too many women in this industry that in the nicest way possible
they just keep calling people out for no reason.
That's what I mean.
Cancel everyone and it's like, did you say you didn't want that on the day? No. If not, stop crying wolf. Get on with it. Like, you've chose to go in this job. You've chose to put yourself in this situation. Yeah. And I'm not saying like every time the women are wrong, but the amount of stories I hear like, oh, you shouldn't work with that person, and I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, they wanted me to put this colour underwear on. Well, did you just say you didn't want to wear that? Like oh, I didn't want to do did an A. Did you tell him you didn't want scene? If you didn't, please stop crying.
A lot of the gripes that I see like if there's 10 gripes online of the call out to try get someone cancelled, I look at all that stuff. For me, I personally want to know if there's someone, a male or a female, that I shouldn't be associating with. And a lot of the time, the male, like the girls that are sometimes that are upset about the males, I'm like, this is really a personal gripe. This is a personal grievance that could have been all fixed up in messages, not in the public eye. This is not adding to anyone's brand. It's not tearing his brand down because everyone's looking at this thinking that's not that serious. And to me, as a male creator, guess who I'm not working with anymore ever again? You.
For like constantly calling people out.
Like if your main thing is guy because, and it's not a good excuse, like that is not advertising your brand very well.
I think at the end of the day, we're not news outlets. Like, I'm not going to sit here going through other people's...
We're not politicians. We don't need to be like
am
super
I meant to sit here swiping through people's stories, keeping myself up to date? I've got my whole thing to run. I've got videos to edit, admin to do, content to make, and then like But
that's why dudes are annoying about like, I said this date. Are you sure that date's okay? Because how many dudes have... Well, the women... Well, people will come out and be like, hey, he said like it was going to be released on the 16th and it turns out he put it out on the 14th. Like sometimes I'll just mess up the date. I do literally 3 to 5 content days a week when I'm like working. You know, when I'm working and I have all the, and I do my best to be pretty organized, and I am now more organized than I've ever been. But even sometimes I fumble the ball, and they might release before me or vice versa.
I mean, we're only human, and as well, like this isn't like a job that you go into and you have training. We're all finding out our own footing and what works for us and what doesn't work for us. So it is hard when people then take this thing and he's like, oh, this person did this, and it's like, okay, like, did you actually speak to them? Was it an issue? Like, why have you run to Instagram? Like, at the end of the day, if the video is good and I was safe and everything was safe during the filming and the collab, that's all I want. Like,
end of the day, we still want everyone to be safe, and we still want people to be called out if they are genuinely putting people in danger or doing like bad, unethical business practices that are other people over. But that's not what we're seeing. Like,
it's
for
also,
the most part.
It's also so hard. Like, some people will know one thing and then other people won't know the other thing, and then you'll go work with someone or do this or do that, and then all of a sudden you're getting called out and you're like, hang on, I didn't actually know any of this was going down. I'm like, that was my bad. But then you still get villainized for just working with someone because of that person. It's like,
you get cancelled via association.
Yeah, and it's like, I can't know every single thing that every person is doing. If I want a video and I think that person is capable of creating that video that I'm wanting and that vision that I'm wanting and in a safe manner, and I don't know the drama, then I don't...
I mean, I guess it's lucky to be a girl because you're able to work with a lot more people without consequence, I guess.
Yeah, like, I think it's really hard for guys in the industry.
Oh yeah, I feel like you constantly have to be thinking about how you're doing certain things because I think girls are so quick to misinterpret certain things as well.
I say the only reason it's difficult for women is just the size we take sometimes.
Definitely.
I love it. I'm a size queen, I think.
Great.
Yeah, like, I like it so much. When I go to LA, I'm there looking at them like, and even like some of the guys that are messaging to book scenes in, I was like, just so you know, I have never worked with anyone your size. But like, to be fair, even if I can't get it in, I will still sell that video because that will still be like, that's hard to some guys. Like me trying to put this massive it's hard.
Guys want to see you struggle. Like guys want to see girls really push to their limits, getting and in a
that will
nice
be me
way.
Next month, like limping. I'll be wheelchair bound.
So what, like, just to give the audience at home like an idea, what are the kind of size talking in America?
Like one of the guys like 14 and a half and
14 and a half inches.
Oh, I reckon I could do that.
Is that Brickzilla?
Dread.
Working with him actually as well, and Dread, and this other guy called Doctor something. I'm really bad with names.
That's okay. That's all right. Just good with
names. I've taken that one before.
Yeah, so difficult.
Do you guys do yours? No.
I'm getting better at it. I'm ready to do my videos now.
Yeah, great.
A finger's a struggle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was actually quite.
I don't mind, like a finger. Like I feel like I'm becoming a lot more like open to it, and I definitely do want to do some.
What I've found with girls is you're like, although you can train yourself to be better at it.
Yeah.
It's like if you like a certain food.
Yes, I want to have fun. I don't want to fake my videos. I want it to be genuine. So and me doing that at the moment wouldn't be genuine.
Yeah, there's nothing less attractive to me than having like with someone, a girl who just does not want to do it.
Yeah.
And she's like putting it on for the camera,
so if
but
I message
obviously
you next week, to say no.
I'd probably say no.
I think
I'd probably say no, then yes.
I shave my
Okay, just because you shaved.
It's harder because it's like I like, but the thing is I have to be. I think in like or in the videos that people are marketing for like on OF and stuff like that. It's like really kind of intense, and I'm still very new to it, although I really do like it. The trust of like, because for the most part, you're meeting these people on the day, and then you're like, okay, yeah, cool. It's like, even though you and I have worked together quite a lot, it's like, we only know each other through working together.
Yes.
So I'm like, I don't know if you're going to actually like kill me when it comes to sticking it in.
But also, like, there are some girls who are just really good at it. They actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a girl that I had in here, like, last fortnight, Riley Fox from Perth.
Yeah.
She does full service, and she does no extra cost.
Oh, wow.
Because she's like,
She
I
loves it.
actually enjoy, like, she's not like she loves it, but she enjoys it. It's not painful for her. She doesn't have to psych herself up to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that is, once you're over that initial, it's in there, she's like, I actually really enjoy it.
Oh, see, that's me too, but I only offer it to 2 clients.
Right.
That's it.
I think if you're into you know that. So, like, there's girls who go over to America, like Kayla East, who just did tour, basically. And she was, like, banging all these dudes. Anal, I think she Dread for, like did an anal scene with Dread.
Sometimes that doing scenes with bigger people is easier because you can prepare a lot more for it.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, because you can train.
Use the butt plugs, you can be stretched out.
Yeah, like
Whereas,
you can
with your
literally show
vagina,
up.
You can't stretch, you can't prepare really.
Yeah.
Like, your goes straight back. Whereas with if you've put a massive butt plug in that morning and stuff and then go and work someone with a big you're gonna be
already like stretched out, kind
that's
of ready
something
to.
that I didn't realize is that a lot of the girls that I've worked with for scenes, they've come to the house with a already. They're like, I've been wearing this plug since like early morning.
Yeah, that's training. So that's to help get it all ready. Because like that's with me, I don't necessarily always do that. But then it's a little bit of a longer kind of foreplay to it because you kind of have to kind of slowly get into it. But then once it's already kind of like there, but then also you run the risk of the guy then not saying. Whereas some guys like that initial struggle. Like my client, he likes that initial kind of struggle. He wants to put the for me. He wants to kind of, not that I'm uncomfortable, but it's a little bit where you're kind of like, oh, you got to get used to it, which I don't mind. But he likes that initial bit where he's like, yeah, like I'm the one doing this to you. I'm going to feel you.
I'm
like,
warming you up.
Yeah, like I'm going to feel you get loose for me. Oh, no, because you prepare.
Well, even if you don't, like,
there's always
so Riley Fox shat all over me.
Yeah.
and like we actually talked about it on the podcast afterwards.
Yeah, I saw that.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I don't get
then I just feel like I'll be nervous and more tense. Thinking like, don't if I'm clenching my arm.
So funny that you say that because I think that is what most women are scared of. Like most women who are like, I don't do it because I think it'll hurt. I think that's only a fraction. I think that's a fraction of what they're worried about.
Like I was having today, I thought, yeah, I would really enjoy fingering now, but then I'll be thinking like, what if you got finger? So then it's putting me off like doing it.
Well, doesn't even bother me. Like I literally am the guy who's like, oh, we need to just do a quick clean up, and then like the girl's like, oh my god, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm like, stop doing that. Let's go clean up, and then we'll come back and we'll start again.
That's why I've not done camera because I need to be comfortable with the person to know that that's all. Like, you know, that's why I only provide it to 2 clients.
I had a girl when I was in my 20s who used to love fingering. I love it, but she also used to smoke cigarettes, and she would like we had a mad sesh, and she's like, I'm just gonna go out and have a cigarette, and this was like after we'd been out. It's like midnight. She's out on the balcony having a cigarette, and I'm in there just watching a bit of TV before we crash, and she comes in and just laughing, and I was like, what are you laughing about? And she's like, oh, I was smoking this cigarette, and I was like,
oh no.
I'm like, what the smell? And anyway, she's smoking it, and then she looked down, and there was all under her fingernails.
But it does have, like, do you know what I mean? That is like, it's normal.
But it is what it is.
I
like,
find
it is what it is. We had a great time. We had a
just so weird. Yeah, I hate when guys put fingers. So I'm like, oh, like it's just not comfortable.
Yeah, it feels. Hate when people put fingers in my.
Do it, guys. Do it to me. Yeah. I'd rather do.
Yeah, right on. Well, I mean, it's squishier without a big nail on the end of it, I guess. Would be more comfortable.
I'm actually, to be fair,
good.
These are my short nails at the moment. But yeah, the guys in spring break that asked for one, and they're like,
I could always tell, like, I actually, when I was going to Vegas from LA for AVN, I got sat next to this lady. I was like, this chick's definitely a she had a huge fake like extreme filler in her lips, and then what sealed the deal for me was I looked at her hand and she was missing 2 fingernails on her index and rude finger.
Oh,
and
she's
the rest,
a peace girl, not a Spider-Man girl.
Yeah,
okay.
so she had 2 fingers with no nails, and I said to her, I was like, "Are you going to AVN?" She goes, "Yes." How'd you know? I was like, the hands, the nails. Yeah, classic. So, well, that's exciting. How long are you in UK for?
I think about a month.
Yeah.
A month. I guess that's home for you. So are you going to go see all your family and all that?
My dad's birthday whilst I'm there. I mean, I don't think I'll see him mid-scene.
No, good. Excellent.
But yeah, I'll see them briefly.
Yeah.
And do your family, I know your family knows what you do. Yeah. Do both your families know what you do?
My mum was actually in the Gold Coast Bulletin this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
What? What for? Is she joining the next tour?
Basically. So I did a sign in the UK, like walked around London and Cardiff with a sign saying, bonk me for free and let me film it. Yep. And my mum actually wrote the signs out for me.
Oh, that's
so
what
sweet. A sweetie.
And the photos of my mum holding the sign up, super happy.
Yeah. Great.
And Ashley was like, can you message your mum for that photo? So yeah, my mum's photo was stood with a sign saying
love that.
And my dad was there cutting the cardboard up, helping her.
I love that. I love it when families are supportive of the ridiculous you do, because
it's like they've got to be like, this has changed, like this job has changed my life and my family's life, forever.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like they're going to support me.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I think
and you're doing everything safely.
Just seeing how happy we are too. I think you can't not want to just support your like family being happy or like a loved one being happy.
Like the amount of girls who go through a massive era in their early 20s and don't see a dime for it. Yeah. You know?
Exactly.
I did that too. No.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So did I. But like
I didn't.
Well, there you go. So like I think this is awesome. Like, and there's nothing better than having like a family that's like totally cool with it, or at least like supportive, you know?
Yeah.
Because it is really sad to me when I talk to people and they're like, my family doesn't speak to me anymore. And you're like, God.
Oh yeah, no.
I always get comments on my photos like, if Daddy Issue was a person, it'd be me. And it's like, I don't, just because I suck doesn't mean I have daddy issues or doesn't mean I lack intelligence. Like it's very much the opposite. Like I've got $1 million business. Like what do you have?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
actually, I'm having a daddy-daughter date this weekend. We're doing a movie night, having a sleepover.
Great. Perfect.
Hanging out with
my dad the other day, because England are playing football at the moment.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, he's like, I'm not saying take naked photos, but like maybe you should put your England top on and take some photos. I was like, Dad, I've already done that.
The guy knows what's up.
That was like, I went to the beach with my family recently and my gran goes, there's a caution sign up there. Can you just go get some photos up there in your bikini, Leilani?
Caution?
There was like a caution sign by the beach for something of like caution waves or underwater hazards or whatever. And my grandmother was like,
just make it caution, sexy girl.
She's like, go on, Leilani, go take a photo over there. You need to work it into your thing. And I was like, all right.
I love the support. I love the support. That's what's up.
The funniest stories actually. So I back in the UK in May, and it was like for a funeral, and stood at the funeral, and I just worked with Kieran Lee.
Yep.
And he's a massive Derby fan, and so is my dad. Like my dad's a huge Derby fan as well. So after the scene, Kieran and my dad are having a phone call because they both used to work on the train tracks, and like we were having a big old chat. And Kieran was like, "If you ever need Derby tickets, like I'll sort you out." And my dad was like, "This guy's a hero."
Yeah.
No, see, I've just been railed by Kieran. I walked back home, like I was staying at my parents' house, and I've just had a got it in my eye. And Dad was like, was work okay? And I was like, yeah, it was good.
Great.
We don't call mine work. We call it Leilani. Yeah. My family's like, are you doing Leilani today? I'm like, yes, I'm doing Leilani.
And then a few days later, I was at the funeral, and my dad sat with all his mates at the pub, and my dad was like, Bonnie, tell everyone who you was with the other day. And I was like, I was with Kieran, and some of them didn't know who he was. And they were like, my dad was like, Google him.
That's
so
good.
Sat at my granddad's funeral, Googling Kieran Lee.
I love that.
My dad's just like...
My family are like supportive, but they're not that supportive. That's a luxury. That's very nice.
My mum was so cute when she saw my prices. She's like, that's my daughter. She's like, you could charge more. I was like, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
Mate, we love it. We love it. How good's Kieran Lee, though? I actually really like that guy. Whenever I've talked to him, whenever I've like seen him in real life, such a cool dude.
I've not met him in real life yet.
Yeah.
Just online friends.
Good vibes. Good energy.
Yeah.
How was and you did a Brazzers scene last time you were over in US. How was that?
Good. It was a full-on script. So I didn't know what I was expecting. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was exciting for sure, but I was nervous.
Yep, and like
My
full on
first one.
scene, you mean like it's
Even had a cap cut thing, you know, when it's like
A
take
cap
two,
cut
take-
thing?
yeah.
What
When
are
it's
they
like
called?
cut. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I felt
like
like
a
a
movie
Hollywood
thing.
star. Yeah.
True.
Turned up, I had like hair and makeup, and I don't really wear makeup or like do like too much. And yeah, you have to go there, have full on hair and makeup. You have like someone that's there to make sure that you're okay. You have to run through your scripts a lot.
How long is the script? Like when
She had the longest script, apparently.
So let's
my
just
God,
say
yeah.
let's
And it's
just
like
say
an ad or I don't really know how it works. But they said, oh, you've got one of the ad ones. So I don't really know what that meant, but
so like let's just say I'm hiring for a scene and I was to get a Brazza scene and they hand me a script. How much do I have to learn before I go do the Brazza scene?
everything word for word.
Like what is it? 100 words, 20
did mine was
lines,
12
5 minutes worth of.
pages.
Hers
And
was the longest, apparently.
and it was tiny writing, like, and the guy that one of the scenes, like, he didn't really talk too much. It was just like he had to breathe, and I had to be like, take deep breaths, and I was there like so nervous. I was like practicing all night, pretending someone was at my door, opening it, like acting it out.
True. And
Yeah, but if
who'd
anyone
you work
was-
with?
I worked. The first one was Isaiah,
Oh, yeah,
but he
nice,
was
nice.
like lovely, so chilled, like
Yeah.
so laid back,
Yeah.
and it made the whole thing just.
I feel like if anyone was going to have a long script, it's you. Like, you're made for talking and
And they was like,
You
oh,
are.
have you done acting? I was like, oh, must be doing good.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got a good voice. So you've got like a real like Mary Poppins voice.
she's also just good
Yeah.
at talking. Like every time when we
The
first started
caring
working
English
together,
woman.
I was like, I need to talk more.
Like Kieran was there, like when I was doing the Brazza scene, and he was just like cracking up. Like he was there, because
Great.
I was just like taking the piss loads of things.
Great.
And like Kieran was just like stood on the stairs, like just watching.
Do
the
they
whole
do
time.
behind the scenes stuff as well? Like on their I don't know how they. I know that they're on, but I
Yeah.
don't actually know how their like business model
You
works.
don't want to see behind the scenes with Bonnie. She does the weirdest stuff, like walking over the top of like dining room tables.
Oh, yeah,
and
that
then
was
she
'cause I
like
needed my
crouches.
drink.
Great.
She does.
Fun.
But, like,
So laid back.
when
like,
we're
I'm
doing the
just
thing,
like-
you're like, oh, both of you can ride up my. And then she was like, yeah, but how? Do you have a second one? Like Bonnie just does the most.
This guy was like, oh, I want you to like, you know, both ride me, and I'm like, you've got one. How we both riding you? Like, what do you expect?
True. Like obviously.
Yeah, but no, the scenes were. So we're like, you'd stop mid-scene and they'd go and get like the watering can to make it look like you're dripping. Then you've got like 4 different camera people like zooming in on you at different angles. And...
Yeah, it's very intimidating for me as a male to do because I've been asked to do scenes for companies, and it's very intimidating for me because you have to be so rock hard for so long in some way, not even in motion. So like if they're taking the photos to begin.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. So
Yeah.
like you do the whole script, the whole speaking, and then like right now we're doing the photos. And I'm thinking like, you know, cheers. Like what type of
No,
photos?
it's like on your tongue.
yeah, like actually just like, oh, you know, just going to ease it in. And I'm thinking, okay, we're actually going for it. But like it's weird because you have to do it in slow motion.
Yep.
So obviously
Yeah.
you still need to stay hard for the photos.
And you're not, and as an etiquette thing as a male, you're not allowed to be having sex in any way off camera.
Yeah.
Like as an etiquette thing, unless like you and your co-performer are
Have spoken about
has
it.
spoken
and,
about
yeah.
it, and you have a good connection, and she's like, yeah, if you need to get hard, you can do that for sure.
Yeah.
But for the majority, a lot of like my friends who do it are literally like, I don't know, I've never met the girl that I'm working with most of the time I'm on set.
Yeah.
So you just, although like that's the hard part, is that like it's very difficult to stay hard without stimulation
Oh,
in
yeah.
general.
The one thing I'd say, the biggest shock I'd have, it's so scripted. Everything's like, you know, very edited. But the one thing they didn't give you any guidance on was the
Oh.
it came to, which was really good because then it meant like the things were scripted, but then the passionate and it was what we wanted to
That's
do.
what I wanted to
That's
hear
good.
because that's what I didn't know that because in my head I'm like, if I had a director of my shoulder being like, hey Apollo, go harder, I'd be like, can't shut up.
12 pumps in and then
Exactly.
we're going to do this
Let
Like,
me
they'd
let
give
me
you
cook.
guidance.
with an 8-beat tempo. No.
Seriously.
Yeah, they give you guidance on like angles and stuff.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
lift your leg because it's blocking the or
But
whatever.
it was basically just once the script was done, they're like, right, we ready to go, and then was like, yeah, and then you just do the scene, and that's it.
cool.
That was it. They didn't tell us positions, angles, anything. Like I don't know if it's
Perfect.
just because we had like a really good time filming, and like the
Maybe
angles,
also
everything
because
looked
like
good, and-
Isaiah is a super professional
Yeah.
and he's like literally top of the heap
He's
when it comes
everywhere.
to performers.
Yeah.
Well, I think he got best male performer at AVN.
Oh,
So
okay.
he literally is top of the heap for
Yeah.
male
Yeah.
performers. And
So he must
he's
just
a machine.
know what's going on.
Well, I mean, if I was working, like he's probably done 1 million performances with
Yeah.
Brazzers already.
Yeah.
So like they're probably like, we don't need to Isaiah. He
Yeah.
knows how
Yeah.
to do it. And after all, men do usually lead
Yeah.
the way when it comes to So like, it's not
it was
like
weird because that scene I had to lead it to start with.
Oh, because you're the
what was it like? It sounds like you were like a yoga teacher
I had to
or
be
something.
like a breathing person. Like, so he was coming for me for like so he wasn't really allowed to talk or move.
Cool.
I tell you, the hardest part of the scene was lighting the. I to start the scene, they wanted me to bend over and light this candle. I'm nervous. Okay, it's my first scene. Like, I don't really know what's going on here. I'm still like, how is this me? How am I here? Like, I'm just a nobody. Like, this
Ridiculous.
is crazy. And then I'm getting the matchsticks. Matchsticks are difficult at the best of time. Let alone when I'm nervous. I've got camera people, like everyone watching me, and I could not get the matchsticks to light. Like, I'm stood there and I'm trying to make sure, like, I'm bent over, trying to look cute, trying to remember my lines, and I'm stood there and like. 2, take 3, and I was like, so sorry guys, like I promise you I'll get it in. I'll get the okay, but this candle's a bit of an issue.
Yeah, classic. Well, there you go. Well, that's good to hear. I didn't realize that they didn't give you any direction during the sex.
Even on
that
the
makes
script,
things...
it just says sex. Like you,
Great.
you get the scripts, and then it just scene, and then more
Great.
writing.
Well, assuming I could get to the scene without and stay hard, like I think my the intimidating part is the photos being rock hard. Without having any stimulation from the partner you're with, where you're just like holding.
We did do like little bits off. Wow.
You did?
Yeah,
like fluffing.
Right, there you go.
So I think they are probably more laid back than what I'm stricter on an OF collab than what I was on a.
Yeah.
To be fair though, some OF collabs you just want to be strict because it's like with Brazzers, it's like it's gonna be something. Whereas sometimes with the OF collabs, you kind of need to be a bit more strict because some of these people like they don't talk about it or whereas I feel like for Brazzers, you want it to be exactly how they are envisioning it. Whereas with OF, you never know if it's actually going to turn out. You kind of envision it, so you kind of.
But you still want your OF videos to always be great.
Oh yeah,
because if it's a video, no one's going to watch it.
I know,
anyway.
but I mean,
I think that's why I've stopped filming a lot now on the Gold Coast. Like I just don't film basically.
Well, if they're not selling, I don't know, there's really not that many males that do it anyway on the Gold Coast for one, and. For me, I'm getting good sales because I've got a channel where all the new girls come to my page and people kind of are expecting that. But if you've got your own thing, which is giving you enough videos to do at least a release a week, at least 2 releases a week, realistically, if you were to really put your foot down, you could say, I could do a Schoolies-esque trip, freshers and then Gold Coast for Schoolies and then go to spring break again and that could be my entire year.
I mean, we also need breaks afterwards. I mean, after 120.
Oh my God, we are so.
Yeah, no doubt. But you could literally just do those trips.
Yeah.
Like my America trips, I get so 30 videos.
Yeah.
For me, if I do 1 release a week, which is basically what I do, that's 30 weeks of content. I still do extra release a week with the Australian girls I work with in between.
Yeah.
But the point is if I was a busy person, if I also did another job, for example, I could easily just go do 4 weeks, 3 weeks overseas, bang out my trip, all the content I need, schedule it up, and then just answer my, chat to my fans every day, or send videos out every day, once a day, and then get on with my job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My other job that's not that.
Yeah.
So I think why would you work with a bunch of creators here unless there was big demand for it? If you had people who were work with Girthmaster, it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you've got a bunch of people who are I want you to work with him, then do it.
Yeah.
But that's the luxury, I think, of doing what you're doing is that you have the luxury of choice.
Yeah.
Now I've really understood. When I first started, I said yes to basically anything and everyone. I was like, it's another video. Whereas now I'm very set on what I enjoy, what pleasures me. Before I used to fake all the time in my videos at the start, whereas now it's genuine because I'm a lot more relaxed. I want to do the video, I'm horny for it, and I have a lot more pleasure from it. So I want to stay down that route for
they're
sure.
the best
so I think
videos
that's
anyway.
why I'm not just doing videos with someone just for the sake of the video. I want to enjoy it. I want to have fun. So now, my OF's taken a massive turn. It's just a lot more genuine, pleasurable. I love the and that's how it's going to stay.
And people can see it on camera as well.
Yeah.
When there was I've had male creators that have lived basically lived with me for whilst they were here on their trip in Australia, and people could be like, oh, I can feel the actual chemistry and energy through the camera. It's more you can kind of, I don't know, it's more sensual and and that's really hard to create with people that you are just
100%.
meeting for the first time and doing a collaboration with them. It's kind of you can't create that sensualness of.
Well, I'll put it out there. I think what you're going for there is with non-experienced creators who don't do it professionally. So like if I'm working with a bunch of people here who are like new creators, newish creators, haven't done it for very long, quite nervous. But when I'm in America, dude, like they're like, I've been looking forward to this. And I'm like, I've been looking forward to this. And they're like, I've been following you for ages. I've been following you for ages. And it still is like it is.
It's fun. It's like not a date, but it's like it's like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. This is going to be really hot. I find you really attractive.
Yes.
Like, whereas I feel like on the Gold Coast, it was too much for a business transaction.
Oh, yeah.
Like, whereas like recently, my videos are a lot more fun. Like we have like, you know, if they want to get hard before camera, we'll do like a bit of fun beforehand. So like, it's a lot more chilled, a lot more laid
Some
back.
of my worst videos, like my most unsexy videos, are the ones where they've been so business. So business that it's the sexiness out of the room. And I'm all for business, but like there's a point where I'm
business,
like,
but make
but like we're also having, so it's like there has to be
to be some aroma of like sexual energy and intimacy in the room, and that's just the way it is. So I think you're totally right. Like the more you can make it real in some way, like I'm not saying that all the stars I sleep with in America is real, you know, we're in love with each other, whatever. No, what I'm saying is that we're there for it. We're there to as if it's a one night stand with someone with.
Let's have fun. Let's make it hot.
And you can tell, like all my America videos go really well because everyone. Also, when you're traveling, I don't know about you girls. When I'm traveling, I'm like free.
Oh yeah, 100%.
My spirit
Don't you
is
feel
free.
like it's like tied down? Like you just feel a lot less stressed. Like my one job today is go and have fun here, and then that's it.
Yeah, my one job is like I don't know about you girls, but I make my whole day about that 3 hour slot where I'm like having this amazing experience. So I don't train beforehand. I always train afterwards. So I've got heaps of energy. I have like a protocol where I make sure that I have like 2 meals before I start. Make sure all the gear's ready to go, and off we go. So like when I'm traveling, it's just I'm free spirited. Everything is a level up in terms of chemistry. Like me just on my story, telling a story, talking about how awesome my day is. People are like, he's got a bit of pep in his step today.
Yeah,
it's because you're overseas and you're just having the best time.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I am smoking usually. This time around, next time I go over to LA, I'm going to be like, try not to be as stoned. Although that does make good content. Like, I think a lot of people are like, this guy smokes a lot of every story I do, I'd be like intermittently smoking a joint.
That's what I noticed of your thing. I was like, okay.
Dude, my first trip, because I was just like, I was working very hard. I did a lot of content, but I also was having a really good, I was just adamant to have a good time. And I'm not a big drinker, but I'm a big smoker if I want to be.
Yeah.
I was just rolling around with like a packet of like in my pocket all day. I was just, it was so good. And there's crazy.
Really?
Like it's so strong compared to everywhere else.
I've never even like sipped a cigarette. No. What do people say?
That's what she said. You heard it here first. Sip the cigarette.
No.
Suck. Yeah.
What did they say?
You've never done a hit of a cigarette? Hit of a cigarette? Smoked a cigarette?
You've never had a draw of a cigarette?
Draw, yes.
Trust me to know that.
Yeah, smart though. Like cigarettes are not good at all.
It's funny because I had a message on Twitter literally yesterday saying like, oh, and it was zooming in on my eyes. They're like, look, lay off it. You're going to be like, you're going to like really struggle in the future. And I was reading it. I was like, I've never touched anything. Like it was just, I was like, as if like, and it's like really zoomed in my eyes.
Oh my
it's like a really long message.
You freaked out when someone had around you and puffed it in near your face.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to get high.
Oh, God,
it was so funny.
We
the
want to
person
be
was like
consensually
smoking near her
high.
and she went, they went, and it was near Bonnie's face, and Bonnie was like,
so am I going to get high?
No,
like,
you don't want to get high by association, especially if you're not a person. It can give you severe paranoia.
oh my God, I get anxious.
Yeah.
I get anxious
like
so bad.
there's a lot of people I know who are like strictly alcohol and they're like, if you touch weed near me, I get mega paranoid and freak. And
See,
I'm
it's
like,
not that. I'm
okay,
just
dude.
like not interested.
Yeah.
So I'm not like I've never had an interest in like trying any of it. Like 2 glasses of prosecco, that's enough for me. Like
Yeah, I don't need any of it either. Like I don't need like to party. I used to party a lot when I was younger. I used to take a lot of like, and to be honest, the time I have now when I go out and I have 2 or 3 drinks, like rarely,
I feel like you enjoy
and
yourself more.
smoke a joint
yeah, just
afterwards.
get us to retros.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm getting older, I guess, because me, if I can get home by midnight, smoke a joint at home and get some Uber Eats after like 4 or 5 hours out, like perfect.
Yeah.
The idea of being out till 4 a.m.
Literally, I think dinner and cocktails is the new way to go. Watch the sunset, have a cocktail. That's nice.
Yes.
Home in bed before it gets cold. Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. When I go to America, pops off just because I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm traveling, my subscriptions are going up, my social media is popping up because people love to watch my stories. They love to watch my reels. They're like, who's he working with today? But it's when you get home that you're like, okay, how am I going to keep promoting from here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because you got to, like, although it's a good theory, like I just said, to do like your 2 trips a year and then that sets you up for the year, you've still got to get people to your page doing stuff on these PG platforms like Facebook and Instagram. This episode brought to you by My OnlyFans. It's an amateur's paradise. Hundreds of girls and me. Get 50% off your first month at www.onlyfans.com/theapolloshow.aus. See you there. So how do you guys promote? Do you have a thing outside of, like, I know you've been doing a lot of actual mainstream media, such as radio, podcasts, things like that. But when it comes to Instagram, TikTok, going viral, do you guys that, or have you just been relying mostly off traditional media such as radio?
I just don't really have a plan. I don't know, like this month, last month was my best month I've ever had. And I was expecting a drop last month. So I don't really know how, like, each day I wake up, I'm like, how is this happening? Like, everything is just tripled for me. Like, I just don't get
There's
how
a lot
it's
of power. There's a lot of power in mainstream media. Like, if every other day I look online and there's you in some sort of news article saying, like, look at our you know what I mean? But like that obviously hits a market
100%.
that has never seen your Instagram. Like it's all well and good to go viral on TikTok and things like that, which I agree. But I think it's even more important to go viral mainstream, because end of the day, if you're going viral mainstream, you're fully clothed. There's even more mystique around like what you're doing, and you girls look quite innocent, like on paper.
I think it's because like my life, like, it's become that shocking. Like, it's just in the news all the time. Like, it's not like a day where I wake up and my friends are always sending me links to lad Bibles, like, oh my God, I've seen you in the paper again.
Yes.
But it's all like, for example, the one that's gone out recently is the fact I blame women for men cheating.
Yes.
It's all got a lot of truth behind it, and it is true. But I
Lay
just
it on
say
us.
it
Like, what's your theory here?
too much. They don't pleasure enough. They think a pillar princess performance is going to keep their husband happy, and it's not. They've moaned that much about the pots not being done that as soon as they nip out, their husband's bending me over their worktops. Like, they just don't understand you can't have it all, and I think women do have too much of a high expectation.
I think as well, people focus on like getting, I know because Bonnie and I have both come out of long-term relationships where she was married and I was engaged. Like, you kind of go through this thing of like what you assume is this successful life means you have a partner and a home and this and that, and then you focus so much on that you're not actually focusing on your partner and what they want. You're focused on, you come home from work, you make dinner, you wash the pots, you do this, you do that you're not actually there for your partner. You're not actually...
They're just there because they're
like,
married.
You're just not the love and the passion, and these people overlook love and passion so much, so they overlook it's just a big thing. It's an intimate thing that you have with your partner that isn't perhaps supposed to be shared. But if you're not like giving your partner that, then yes, I would do it for you.
Like, make dinner and then pop it in the oven and get kitchen bench. I used to do that with my ex-fiance. Like, it's like things like that. It's like kind of, I think people, they look at what they want and then they get there. But then the thing is, they don't know or understand
you
how
have to maintain
it.
You have to maintain it.
Like, you need to
work on
just
it.
having the ring on your finger doesn't mean that the marriage is going to be good forever. Like, that is a commitment to constantly be maintaining that relationship and pouring into that cup.
But to be fair, women doing terrible pleasing their husbands making me rich, so carry on, women.
Carry on. I mean, there's even like young girls that I've, like, when I say young girl, like girls who aren't married in their 20s and 30s that I've slept with over the years, doing this job and not doing this job, who just do not like not even for content, like, forget the content stuff, girls that I've met in my personal life and slept with multiple times in my personal life who never even like went near never offered it, and like then I'd like,
that's my first go-to move.
And then I would leave, and then I would like leave and stop messaging them, and they'd be genuinely shocked, and I'm like, like,
I'm confused as to how they're getting further places, because I'm like, that's the first thing I want to do.
That's the only way I used to get my job promotion.
That's the first thing I want to do. If I'm ready to hook up with a guy or something, the first thing I want to do is off, and whilst off, I'm kind of in my head being like, do you know, it'd be really hot if he now, because I'm kind of like, it'd be hot if he first, because then
Love that.
like I don't know,
But that was shocking to me. Like when I was growing up through my like 20s
yeah.
and experimenting with a lot of from people, I'll be like, there is a certain type of girl who's almost like, I don't need to do that. I don't enjoy it, so I don't need to do it.
That's totally someone like I know,
and
Mitch. Hi, this guy recently, and literally was just like, I don't.
Oh yeah, that's
what do you
just
mean?
like that's just behavior.
You mean?
I was like, so the first time we had, so we were having sex, I'm like, right, like sort of pushing his head down, and I could tell. I was like, I was lying there thinking like, what are you doing? Like,
it's giving
what's
the
he doing,
behavior.
spelling out his name or something, like, because he's just not like, what are you doing? Like, I was just lying there, I was sort of thinking like, this ain't that good. And then when he came back up, he was like a bit soft. And I was just thinking like, oh, like fair enough. Like sometimes you can go like soft, like someone out or like.
Love eating. Get it.
And then, then afterwards he's like, oh, you're the third person I've licked out. Like I just don't lick women out. And I was thinking.
It's giving that behavior of, when you and he's like, oh, don't kiss me after. It's like, grow up.
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah,
honestly,
totally.
like that is your own skin and everything. And if you're telling me I can't kiss you after I've just had your mouth there, I don't actually think I even want to do anything with you because what
that's my go-to during my for like a Twitter clip.
Yeah.
I'll have the camera close up, videoing a chick's side, and then I'll like get her face and then kiss her and then put in her mouth.
Yeah.
And people love that.
I used to love getting like when my ex would like film me with and sitting on his face and like make it afterwards.
Oh, you'd make him his your.
He'd be like, you won't get a straw in there, so I'd be like, he'd like licking me. Obviously,
yeah, see, I would definitely have to draw the line.
Oh, see,
there.
I've got videos with content with creators where he finished like on me, like on my chest and part of my face, spat it into my mouth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, some dudes are into
hot.
it. Some dudes are into it.
And we
For
just
me,
kept
not
kissing.
my thing. But there is definitely a wider market out there for a bunch of stuff. But like that does me out.
Have you never been curious to taste your own?
Like, I'm not saying like you need to scoop it up and put it on top of your ice cream, but like if I've just swallowed it and then I want to go for a kiss afterwards, because sometimes after
I'll
sex,
go that. But
you
it's
just
like
want to lie there afterwards.
But there are dudes who literally get a kink from like eating their own. I'm
oh
here
my
for
god,
it,
don't! I've got this one story. So when I first started in the industry, I started off as a cam girl, and this guy used to pay me all the time. He was obsessed with black guys. So and he had this cupboard, and it was just full of pinned up, and it'd be like 6'2", like it'd say a job and. Like
when it had been
the day that was it, and then he'd put this condom on. He would the condom, so like the condom's now got this black. And he would do that 3 times. So I always thought that was pretty impressive. Like he'd do it 3 times, one after the other.
Hold on. I'm confused here. So
black guy's condom, it would, and then
how's he getting the black guy's condom?
You can buy him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he's buying from, but like he's.
What do you mean?
Him.
Like buying someone who's already.
So
yes, he's got a condom.
This is where the confusing part was for me. Okay, so he's actually gone on the black market to buy a condom filled with a.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on the same page. Continue,
yeah,
please.
imagine when it hits your tip, like how cold that would be.
That'd be gross.
And then he puts it on himself.
Like he's wanking 3 times. So the condom is now full of this black guy's 3 times in a row, and then he'd have 3 items of food. It'd be like a piece of bread, a biscuit, or it could be like a drink. He would then like
mix it in,
empty the condom full of this biscuit or piece of bread and eat it.
Is this a gay guy or a straight guy?
Straight, like most normal looking guy, lives on the Gold Coast.
And he sleeps with women. Like he's
got a wife. Like I think he's like late 40s, early 50s. Like lovely guy. You walk past him on the street.
What an interesting kink.
But it's quite cool when you find things out like this about people, because you just never look at someone and go, oh yeah, that person likes this.
Oh, dude.
I look at people so different now.
Oh yeah.
I used to walk to the supermarket and not even think like nothing. I just wouldn't think no one was double looking at me or anything.
Yeah. And
I'll go to the supermarkets and think, what is going through people's heads? Like some of the conversations or customs I do, I think, wow, like they are creative. It makes that Human Centipede film seem normal.
I know.
Totally. Oh, dude. Yeah. That's crazy.
Like now I'm like, oh, you want me to be stitched someone else? Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah, perfect. So how often is this guy having this black-white?
So I used to take his FaceTime calls every 2 weeks.
And every 2 weeks he'd have like just one of them. He'd purchase one a fortnight, or he'd have like a collection.
You don't have like a full cupboard. Like his cupboard would always be full. Like his shelves were always stacked. Like I don't know where he'd get them from.
What about his wife? Does his wife know about this?
No, I mean I assume not. But
imagine like going to go do something and being like, what the.
He'd rinse them out. Like he would literally like suck it out, and then he had like this empty mouthwash, like, you know, when there's like jars, and any extra spit or anything he'd put in there.
Oof.
Wow.
Gosh.
Freaks.
I always wonder how people come up with these things. Like
I know, like what made him think that would really turn me on? He didn't want me to do anything. He just loved the idea that I was watching him, and then he'd want me to video in it.
Yeah, I would love to know where the origins of that kink came from for that gentleman.
Yeah.
In particular, yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. So maybe I should try my own.
Yeah, start
or maybe start selling
it.
Maybe I should.
Start selling them, yeah.
I feel like I need, like, by the sounds of it, I could be selling like full.
Watch out though, because it might end up as the man with 1,000 kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that if I like, FYI, if there's any ladies out there who want to have a baby to me, then I would happily donate some semen. 100%.
Oh, really? You would?
100%. If I mean, like, I don't want to have to father the child, but if you want to do like a cheap, you know.
Oh, we know what kids are like nowadays. 18 years old, they're like, oh, I've been searching for you my whole life. Oh my God, I've always known part of me missing.
Just be like, sorry, I don't know who you are, but these two girls take 18-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. But I have some friends that you might like.
Yeah, but look, I'm not your dad. Like,
that's right. That's right.
I used to watch those programs. It'd be like, oh, I'm searching for my long lost dad. I know I've got like such a connection. I feel like something's missing out of my life. I'm like, you don't even know. You don't because your mum's told you. Like, get on with your life.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, what a vibe. What a vibe. Do you have any freaks with your full service that you like? Like, do you have anyone who does like?
No, like I had this one guy that just wanted to the whole time and film it. Then there's another guy that wanted me to just nipples the whole time. I had one recently where he's like, I've got the small and I was like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, is that all right? And I was like, yeah, that's fine, no worries. And he was like, yeah, can we make content with it? I was like, of course we can. Like he was, I think he was just expecting. I don't know if he wanted me to, if he was paying me to just laugh at him for half an hour.
Maybe he was. Some people like.
You're like. AA bacteria. You never make people come you off.
I don't know. Like,
it all is a legit thing.
Yeah, everyone kind of just like a lot of people just come with different little things, but there's some people that like I don't know. There's been a whole different wider variety of things, but normally it comes down to nipples for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, I hate my nipples being touched, but some people love it. Like I did a Penny Lane and Kyron Kruger, and one of his things to like stay rock hard was he'd be like pinching the.
He's so cool and he's so tall. I forget, like, oh my God, when I saw him, I was like,
he's from Melbourne. He's the leather guy. Yeah. So he's like always got like the high heels, latex from top to bottom.
His stuff is so cool.
Did something with.
Yeah, he's a legend. But that was surprising to me because I was watching him as I was like working, and he's like twisting his nipples while he's getting his dick sucked, and I was like, dude, that would like make me soft, like. Would crawl inside my body if someone started reefing on my nipples like that. So yeah, it really is different strokes for different folks.
I did have someone ask me to do me to fish and kind of like I don't know.
I went fishing at the weekend. You could.
And then he's like, and then I need you to kill it and play with yourself. And I was like, when am I putting the playing myself into the catching and killing?
I think that's always weird when people request like a sexual request that involves killing another.
They say that's how like Ted Bundy starts and like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Because there are girls who I talk to. Like I've had this a couple of times where girls are like, yeah, my weirdest request was a dude that wanted me to kill bugs, like to catch some like roaches or get some like crickets from the vet store, pet store, and then like while I'm on them and then pleasure myself.
I have heard about that before,
and I'm like,
actually.
I find that incredibly weird, but also just like the extremeness of it, like you're like ending life while you're doing like it's just so crazy.
Or people ask me for like hijab and henna content, which I've not done.
Oh, true. Hijab, so you do...
I've not done a hijab video. I don't think...
What's a hijab?
Hijab's the
head
I know you're Samoan, right?
Samoan, Chinese, Irish, Kiwi.
I was going to say, is there some like Indian or anything in there where you could like justify that?
But you know, I don't know much about my dad's side of the family, so that's kind of up for debate. But like both of my parents are Samoan mixed. So, but yeah, people have asked me to do henna. But then also, if I get henna, I then have to let everyone know that I'm going to do collabs with if they are okay with me having it too, because that's something that is going to be in their video, I guess.
Why? No one with tattoos asked me if it's okay.
That's so true. I guess because it's...
Why does it matter? Doesn't matter at all.
Amazing. So can we do a henna?
Whatever you want. As long as you don't have Apollo's hennaed on your chest, it's fine. No, we got...
Just get Apollo.
Well, I'll help you next week to play with your nipples. And
yeah.
I don't know. Ooh, I don't know.
Here's Bonnie. Bonnie's like, I'm scared about...
I mean, the first part, but I mean, hey. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I think you're fine with henna, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want to do my first. I think I'm more ready for I've become a bit of an not gonna lie.
Yeah, once you've unlocked it, I think...
Kieran was like, when you next come to the US, he's like, we're doing and I was like, I don't know.
Because he's got a big old... He's like, like a 9-inch...
Also, I've not watched any of his content like before filming with him because I'm really bad with names and knowing who people are. Like, so I've very much just gone down I work with whoever. Things have taken off quite quickly. Like, I don't know sort of who people are. Like, not in a rude way. It's just I don't.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about stuff, and like he was saying, like how he'd got a fairly big. And I was thinking, right, how big are we talking? So I was like, just before we was filming. I mean, it was too late at this point. I'm already sat in the room,
and
I'm there trying to find his Twitter, thinking, oh my god, what have I got myself into?
But it was all right?
Yeah, he's got really good.
Yeah. I feel like as long as you prepare it okay, like you start all right. If it's under 10 inches, it's manageable.
I came 4 times in that video. It's like the most time I've ever come. Yeah.
Great.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything else you want to go through before we carry on?
I'd say that's it.
Yeah.
Great. And where can the audience find you?
It's Leilani May on Instagram, Twitter, and OnlyFans.
Great.
Just Google Bonnie Blue.
Yeah,
you'll
Google. Yeah, you
Perfect.
can Google Schoolies Australia as well.
Perfect. Great. Well,
it's hard to miss.
Thank you so much, ladies. You've been a great time. And thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
Perfect.